Now, bro, we're going to get our first MAC victory. Hey, we're going to get our first MAC victory, you know what I'm saying? First conference win. You see it?
Hey, y'all boys back in HUD, hey, y'all don't pay no attention to that. Look, I started it, y'all finish it. Yo, y'all better represent. Best of luck, Coach Pruitt. Best of luck, UCF. Y'all go out there and bring it. Like you said, huh?
And the herd come thundering out of their locker room. This is Marshall Stadium. Chance for a new record crowd is expected here in Huntington, West Virginia. It's the first ever meeting between the thundering herd of Marshall and the Golden Knights of UCF. Welcome to College Football Friday night on ESPN2 with Rod Gilmore. I'm Steve Levy. Amazing, all this trash talk. The Minnesota Vikings are fighting amongst themselves about two teams that have never played each other. For Marshall, they've won 4 of the last 5 division crowns. They want to get the MAC back. UCF says they're ready for MAC-shun. Welcome to the conference tonight.
Yeah, and they know how to come in talking with a lot of swagger and everything, and they're even excited about facing Byron Leftwich, who a lot of people keep saying, hey, is he out of the Heisman race? No way. He had a great game against Vodchek last week. He's the key. His receivers have to step up. They've been banged up. That's hurt them. They've dropped some balls, but he'll get a shot early. Byron Leftwich is still in the hunt for the Heisman Trophy.
And there are some folks saying we could have the potential, let's call it, possibly 100 points tonight. That kind of shootout is expected here this evening. This has all the makings of a truly fun football game. Marshall won the toss, and they have elected to receive. Matt Prater will kick it away. Wilbur Hargrove is back deep for Marshall. And Hargrove will take it 4 yards deep in the end zone, and it'll go out to the 13-yard line. That's been a sore spot for Marshall. Kickoff returns, and they've already got problems there as they'll start with poor field position. Well, the quarterback for Marshall, now if you haven't heard of him, where have you been? That is Byron Leftwich. Had a brilliant game despite the loss at Virginia Tech. His numbers were simply outstanding. 31 of 49 for 406 yards. He's got excellent receivers. Watts, Davis, and Marriott. All 3 went over 1,000 yards receiving last year. So they open on 1st and 10 from their own 14-yard line. And surprise, surprise, they put it on the ground to the man officially known as Franklin Wallace, but everyone in this area calls him Butchie. Rashad Genty made the stop. The offensive line for Marshall, it's got to be a good one when you consider how many times Leftwich goes back to pass. Shulo and McPeak, the real stars, protecting him on the right and the left side. The defensive line for Central Florida, watch 97, Elton Patterson. He's among the top sackers in the country. 7-yard gain on the running play. And on 2nd down and short, they'll run it again. And they'll come up shy and put him down at a 3rd and short. Wallace, the ball carrier, Patterson, made the stop. The linebackers and the rover position for UCF, they do a good job there. They're starting the 3 different linebackers from a season ago for Central Florida. And the secondary looks a little something like this. Atari Bigby, the strong safety, he won their Big Stick Award 1 week ago in their loss at Arizona State. So this is 3rd down and 3 now. 2 receivers out to the right. And a low snap. Leftwich has it. Across the middle, it is caught and then dropped. Jason Rader, the tight end from St. Albans, West Virginia, had it in his hands, had 1st down yardage, but could not hang on.
But couldn't hang on. Pretty good defensive play. UCF playing a little bit of man under coverage. They like to play a lot of zone, and that's what Leftwich will see tonight. 2 deep and 3 deep coverage. At time it was a 2 deep with man underneath, and pretty good defensive play.
Curtis Head is back to punt. Asante Samuel is back to receive. Head is the kicker and the punter from Marshall. Wow. Sends Samuel back all the way over his shoulder to the 25, and a nice run back, making something out of nothing Head might have outkicked his coverage there. And so Central Florida will start with excellent field position. 50-yard punt, 18 yards on the return. Ryan Schneider has thrown a touchdown pass in 11 straight games. And that's something he looks to continue. He also has a fine set of backs and receivers. The star by far is number 11, Doug Gabriel. Be the man to watch tonight. First down and 10. Near midfield on the first possession. Friday night college football for you on ESPN2 from Huntington, West Virginia. Schneider will hand it off to the first man through. That's Alex Haynes. There is a flag on the play.
Well, Steve, I think they had a couple of guys moving at the same time. UCF likes to use a lot of motion shifting. They even had the tight end in the backfield lined up as a fullback and then moved him. And then they brought a man in motion behind that. I think they got a little bit confused on their timing.
We'll see what Marshall wants to do here.
Illegal shift. 2 people moving to the offset. That penalty's declined. Second down.
The offensive line, check this out. Huff, Mabry, and McCray were all injured on one play last week, but they're back in the lineup tonight. The defensive line for Marshall. You see left to right. Second down and 10. Schneider out of the gun, fakes the inside handoff, and he'll throw across the middle. Wide open is Mario Jackson, the tight end. He's got first down yardage, gain of 16 on the play before Terrence Tarpley finally brought him down. And the linebackers for Marshall, of their 3 starting linebackers in that rover position they have, only Charles Tynes, number 45, has real experience at the position. And there you see the secondary. Satterwhite has to have a big game, the coaching staff told us, for them to win tonight.
That's because they like to play a lot of man. They want to get after Schneider, so they need good man-type coverage on the outside.
UCF will put it on the ground. Alex Haynes, a pickup of 2 on the play before Tarpley brought him down.
Now, Steve, if you're watching Marshall, you know they've got the great quarterback. So you've got a pretty good one yourself in Schneider, but you don't want Leftwich on the field. So you need first downs. The key for UCF tonight, get first downs. Keep Leftwich on the sideline. If you got to run the ball, run the ball. If you can throw it and pick up first downs, do it. But keep number 7 on the sidelines. Otherwise, he may hang a 50 on you.
Of course, Marshall was ripped apart for 395 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns a week ago at Virginia Tech. Fumble! Football is loose! Initially looked like Marshall had it, and they do! Orlando Washington comes up with the fumble. Looked like a bad exchange between Ryan Schneider and Alex Haynes.
Yeah, and you see Krusek right now. He says, come here, Ryan. Come here. You got to make sure you get the ball into the back's stomach. Now watch Haynes. You got to get it in there. They had too much spacing, a little bit too wide. You have to make sure you get it in there. He got him right on the rib cage, the pads out there. Ball went down. Washington recovered it. That's a pretty good start for the Marshall defense.
Now you think about UCF took over at their own 47 to start their first possession. Second possession now for Marshall from the 41-yard line. And Marshall put it on the ground of Butch Wallace. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play. What's all the running going on in this football game?
Oh, I don't know about that. One thing is, Marshall doesn't normally put Leftwich under center. He's a shotgun quarterback. Every play so far, he's been under center. I suspect they're doing that to set something up later where they can run some pass off of this formation, having him under center. But they like to throw the ball from the shotgun 90% of the time.
There they are out of the gun now on second down and 9. And a flag down on the field. Let's get this indication.
Yeah, reset the game clock to 11:50.
It takes 6 seconds off the game clock. And let's go down to the field. Say hi to Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Steve, well, as you and Rod already alluded to, Marshall has had no shortage of bulletin board material going into tonight's game. In fact, they posted an article in their locker room and all across campus, copies of an article written before the season, quoting UCF head coach Mike Krusek as saying his team would go undefeated and saying that he was most worried about his team's non-conference games. Now, Krusek denied the comments, and Steve, he told us earlier this week, he said he was misquoted, but the damage was already done.
Damage already done. Wallace got the short pass from Leftwich for the big gain. You mentioned, Alex, after the 22-yard gain, he said it was taken out of context. He said, look, we were focused on our first opponent. That happened to be out of conference. That was certainly not a shot at the MAC.
Yeah, you know what Marshall said? No, don't buy it. Don't buy it. No. The Marshall folks, the fans, and the players, they're saying, yeah, right. You guys come in here swaggering, talking smack. You got to come to our house. Show us something.
Screen pass to Dinero. Marriott, the left side, stays on his feet. Now he's pushed back as he got down to the 30-yard line. And look, listen, I think Coach Pruitt and the Marshall people knew that Krusek didn't say that. However, they had the ammunition. Why not use it?
Well, it's perfect because what it does is you can use it to get your team focused during the week. You just come off of a loss with Virginia Tech, big game, big hype. How do you get guys focused? Here's somebody come in here dissing you. You guys got to focus, watch film. That's what it did for them.
UCF played a 3-point game at Penn State. Krusek said they got a lot of confidence, especially after watching what happened in Happy Valley a week ago, what Penn State did to Nebraska. Under 11 minutes to play. First quarter. Leftwich out under center, has good time. Look at the time, able to pick and choose, and has passed too high. Marriott was open, but Leftwich couldn't get it to him.
Well, that's one of the few times this season I've seen Leftwich do a 5-step drop. You know, and that's the first time I've seen him misfire on a sideline route. He is usually so accurate, but usually he does that from the shotgun. I think when you go to a 5-step and you haven't done it all season long, it probably throws off your timing just a little bit. But I bet, you know, by second quarter or so, if they're still doing that, they'll be a lot more on target with it.
And again, he had great pass protection. This is an offensive line that has only given up 5 sacks so far in the first 2 games. Might sound like a lot, but when you throw the ball 90 times in the first 2 games, not so. Looking for the end zone, and it was knocked away at the last second. Darius Watts was there, and UCF looked like they had good coverage on the play. Omar Lawrence might have batted it away at the last second.
Yeah, and Watts started to get some separation there at the end with his great speed. And this ball right on the money. You see a little push off there, and then the ball is flicked away. He flicked it away with his left hand. Perfect throw by Leftwich, but that's a pretty good defensive play.
Watts last week could not hang on to what would have been a 44-yard touchdown. They had all sorts of drops. This is 4th down on 4th and 5 from the 30. They're going to go for it. Interesting call, this part of the field. Here's Leftwich, some pressure, throws, and it is caught. Yes, completion to Darius Watts. Gain of 11. First down, Marshall. Gutsy call on 4th and 5.
Yeah, you know, they're looking at a 47-yard field goal. They've got the wind in their face. And so I'm sure that they felt like with the wind in your face, maybe don't do it. And besides, you got a guy named Leftwich. You know, he can throw a rocket for an out, and a pretty good receiver in Watts out there with great speed. So you know they're going to lay off of him. Right on the money. Nice footwork. First down.
Again, he's under center now. Inside the 20-yard line. Second possession for Marshall. Tries the screen out to the right. Able to complete to Josh Davis. And they had it read pretty well.
And Davis is the slow guy in the group of the receivers for Marshall. And they have a stable of speed burners, and he's the one who runs just a tad bit over 4.5. Everybody else is 4.5, 4.4, 4.3. And when you're the slow guy at 4.5, you got a pretty good crew of receivers.
Mentioned
pretty fast.
The drops from Marshall a week ago.
Yep.
They counted 8 of them. A couple of would have been touchdowns. So you wonder if they're battling with some of their confidence, the Marshall receivers this week. Hey, UCF's not laughing. They had 11 drops, according to their coaches, in their loss at Arizona State. Second down and 4. Hand off to Wallace. Trying the left side. Not much there. Larry Brown was clogging up the middle for Central Florida.
Well, Steve, going back to your point about the drops for Marshall, you got to keep in mind their receivers have been banged up almost since the beginning of camp. They've got guys with bad shoulders. Watts had a separated shoulder, and those guys have missed a lot of practice time. So the timing with Leftwich has been off, but also the concentration. When you have an injury, it takes a little bit off of your focus, and I think that's why they've dropped some balls.
Leftwich kept it himself. and had the first down on 3rd and short. We talked with Mark McHale, the offensive coordinator for Marshall, and asked him about the drops, and he said, look, it's obviously mental. It can't be physical. When you look at our receivers, we had 3 of them over 1,000 yards receiving last year.
Yeah.
So he's not all that concerned.
Yeah, and I think the more they practice and play, the healthier they are, the more you'll see those drops go away.
Not a whole lot of consistency in the offensive coordinator position here at Marshall. McHale is the 7th offensive coordinator here in the last 8 years. Wallace. And again, UCF doing a good job in the middle of the line of scrimmage there. But Frisner Nelson made the stop.
Well, we've seen Marshall come out committed to running the football, really trying to get something going on the ground. They didn't do that very well last week. They got behind early. They got away from it. They want Wallace to be able to run the ball enough so that things do open up for Leftwich. There isn't as much pressure on him, not as much blitzing.
Both coordinators said this was a tough week of work because you had to be prepared for so much. You've got 2 schools that like to pass, so you know the thought of running has to be in their minds. You have to be ready for everything. I've seen Leftwich under center as much as we've seen him here on the 2nd possession.
Timeout.
On 2nd down.
Marshall.
5.
First charge, timeout.
Marshall will take a timeout. Their first of the half. We'll take it with them. The 11th play of the drive coming up when we come back. Friday night football from Marshall Stadium on a hot, humid night. There is some forecasting that says there is some potential rain in the area. And we're going to see. The 11th play of this drive is upcoming. It's a 2nd and goal from the 5.
Rain? You're kidding me.
Rain is in the forecast, Rob.
Great.
I've got your umbrella with me.
Thanks.
2nd down and goal. 2 receivers split out to the left. And again, the incompletion to Denero Marriott.
But Marriott just, he runs in and stops right in front of their guys. Now, I don't like what UCF is doing. They're playing a zone down there, but they're playing it behind the goal line. I mean, you got to force the quarterback to get the ball up over you. If you just let the receiver run in the goal line end zone and turn around, it's a touchdown. And if you're going to play zone down there, you get on the goal line, you make the guy go behind you, and they make the quarterback throw the ball up over your head.
3rd and goal from the 5. Marriott is split out to the left. But he's looking in Watts' direction, and it was intercepted. Is it? Yes, it is. Carlos Thompson, the quarterback. The interception of Leftwich in the end zone.
See, he played that one much better. I mean, he's on the goal line, and then he just reads the quarterback. He's playing his zone. He just stares Byron down as Byron stares down his receiver. And he just drives right on it. When you're playing zone in the end zone, you just look at the quarterback and you drive on the ball. And he did a good job of making sure the quarterback would have to throw the ball over him, and if he tried to drill it, he'd catch it. It's a good job. We just talked about it. Steve, you listen.
Carlos Thompson does not even appear on the 2 deep for UCF, and he comes up with a big play. So far we've traded turnovers. And here's UCF and Ryan Schneider. Handing it off to Alex Haynes. He's brought down by Yancey Satterwhite.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that. Now remember, Marshall had trouble last week against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, 2 backs in the backfield. UCF is not normally a 2-back team. But since they saw what Tech did, they want to have 2 backs in the backfield. They want to run the ball enough so that they can try and do what Tech did last week. Tech got 395 yards rushing.
Right. 6 touchdowns. Not that Central Florida has those kind of backs, though. Haynes with deep round. And it's Haynes again.
Now, you're right. I mean, Haynes is not Lee Suggs, and he's not Jones either, but he's a pretty good back. I mean, this is a guy out of Florida who was an all-state player 2 years in a row. He's got great speed. The coaches here at Marshall said, hey, yeah, we know about this kid. We recruited him. He's a great player. We're a little bit afraid of him.
Haynes was really a prize for UCF. He is considered the biggest local signing ever for the Golden Knights out of Orlando. And there's Thompson, had the pick, putting UCF in this position. On their 2nd possession, again the handoff. Haynes taking on some people, and now be pushed back to about 30. J.T. Rembert finally brought him down. Don't miss a chance to see the revived Fighting Irish as they look to go 4-0 against Michigan State. Would be Notre Dame's first 4-0 start since '93. Tyrone Willingham going back to his old alma mater. That should be interesting. That's tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
And it's a must-win for Michigan State. And if Michigan State loses that ball game, it could be a real long season.
Second down and 5. They were hammered at home by Cal a week ago. Wide open down the field. Schneider has Tavares Capers, and forget about catching him. A 65-yard strike down the middle. Capers was all by himself. Touchdown, UCF.
Steve, you have a young defense that got confused, and the result is a big touchdown. You can't make mistakes in the secondary, because when you do, it's 6 points.
So Leftwich is picked off in the end zone, and then UCF comes back. A 65-yard touchdown pass. Schneider to Capers, and Matt Prater, the true freshman, is on to attempt the extra point and put it through. We expect points and big plays tonight. So far, UCF has it going on. They lead here at Marshall 7-0.
ESPN2's College Football Friday Night, brought to you by KFC. There's fast food, then there's KFC.
UCF in their first conference game of any kind. The program that started in '79, been independent since then. In their first conference game ever, they have the lead, 7-0. Prater to kick it away. Back deep for Marshall, Wilbur Hargrove, and 5 yards deep into the end zone. He'll take a knee.
Hey, Steve, we go back to that touchdown play. It's all about recognition and communication. Right here, take a look at Capers, I'm sorry. He's the wide receiver lined up as a tailback. He comes on out here. Now you have a problem in the secondary. It is all about communication. They blow it right here. Who takes the receiver? Who takes the guy going across the middle? A miscommunication. Capers runs free. They didn't know they had a wide receiver lined up at tailback. The first gotcha of the ball game.
And they've gotcha for 65 yards in the score. And how will Leftwich and Marshall counter? Brandon Carey has checked in. And they give it to Carey and fake the reverse. Chad Masco brought him down.
All right, I'm about ready for Byron to just let it loose. You know?
Does seem a little conservative early on for Marshall in terms of play calling.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've gone away from their natural tendency. I mean, their tendency, as you look back at their games this year and last year, they throw the ball on first down. They throw screen passes, they throw the outs, but they throw it and get rolling. They've come out here tonight, they've run it on first down, they've run it on second down, they've thrown it on third down. That's not their attitude. They need to get back to doing what they do, which is letting Byron run the show.
And if anyone thinks Leftwich might be concerned after throwing that pick, forget about it. That is not in his makeup. Handoff again on the ground to Brandon Carey, finds a seam. He's out across the 30 to 32, gain of 13 before Stanford Rule brought him down.
Just a simple straight dive, little cross blocking up front and a huge hole. The linebackers are getting hit by linemen. That's not a good thing for UCF. The linemen have got to make sure that they get out there. If you're a linebacker, you don't want those big old linemen coming running through free, getting on you. Defensive line's got to keep those guys off of you so you can make tackles.
First down and 10. 4 seconds to snap the ball. They do. Flanker screen to Watts. Makes the first move. And then he is bumped out and thrown down well after the fact. And flags go flying. Atari Bigby, I think, made the stop. And we'll see who's the guilty party. That wasn't even close. Might have been Bigby as well. Not even close for that late hit.
Now you get a couple of youngsters over there, a couple of sophomores in Lynch and Bigby, and they get a little excited on the road.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You know, you want to be intimidating, but you got to pick your spots. And this is not a smart time. You're on the sideline in front of the Marshall guys, and you get a forearm delivered near the head by Lynch. way out of bounds. Totally unnecessary. I think the officials are right. I mean, that guy is helpless in that position. There's no need for Lynch to come in with a forearm.
And Watts was fortunate he did not land on his shoulder. You mentioned it earlier, Rod. He missed the opener due to a separated shoulder. First down and 10. The penalty pushes them across midfield. Leftwich will keep it on the ground. A Brandon carry. And he'll come up just shy of the 40-yard line. Rashad Genty made the stop.
I tell you one thing, though. Thompson is having himself a game at corner over there. And he got a pick in the end zone on that last drive, and he forced the play back inside this last time. He didn't make the tackle, but he did a nice job of constricting the running lane. And that youngster is playing a pretty nice ball game so far.
After a stint in the Marine Corps, Thompson went to Southwest Mississippi Community College, and he finds himself making a big play for UCF. Leftwich again puts it on the ground, a carry. And Carey carries it for first down yardage to the 35. You saw the play selection, the real balance by Marshall.
Yeah, and UCF is okay with that. I mean, they are making sure they take away deep balls. And they're playing a very, very soft 2 deep and a very, very soft 3 deep. And so Marshall's saying, okay, we'll take the stuff up front. You're going to let us run it a little bit? We'll run it. You'll let us throw it short in front of you? We'll do that.
2 receivers will split out to the left, 2 to the right. Single setback is Carey for Leftwich from the gun. Pumps and throws, slowing up the play, but they're still able to get the positive yardage out of it. Josh Davis was bumped out. They're going to spot it down, that he was down at the 30-yard line.
But, you know, Steve, this is really not the Marshall personality, though. I mean, Leftwich likes to throw the seam route. He likes to throw the out. And the whole game plan for UCF is to frustrate Leftwich. Don't let him throw the ball where he wants to. And you see right here, Davis does a nice job of getting out of bounds, because if he stays in there, that's a fumble.
That's why the official was so emphatic about pointing to the ground that he was down before he fumbled the football. Second down and 6. He's under center again. Rod, what's going on?
They're breaking all tendencies.
The essence of surprise. Handoff, carry, smashing into people. And he's just shy of the 20-yard line. Took on D. Williford and Atari Bigby at UCF. Carries so far. 5 carries for 34 yards. Got 10 on that play.
Well, UCF ought to know by now that when Leftwich is under center, they are very likely to run the ball. Wouldn't be a bad idea to check their defense and get a little better run support when they see Leftwich under center.
This should open play action at some point, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I would think. When you run it that way, it has to.
3 seconds to get it off, and they barely do. Wallace is back in the game, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Chris Palenko made the stop. A time-consuming drive by Marshall, aided by the 15-yard penalty for the late hit.
Well, you know Leftwich, you've talked to him. Do you think this guy gets frustrated and bothered by this? I mean, he seems to just go with the flow. You know quarterbacks like to throw, but is he a guy who's patient enough to handle this?
I assume that this was their game plan all week, so he was mentally prepared that, hey, this is the way we're going to go early on in the game. Unless the coaching staff has made some changes, seeing something different in the UCF defense. And they're milking that play clock every single time, down to 3-2, and they get it away. Leftwich will spin and throw back across to Wallace. Forget about it. 3 white jerseys are there, led by Rashad Genty, who's already off to a big start for that Golden Knights defense. Loss of 4 on the play.
You know, the one other consideration for Marshall is that their defense is very, very young. And their defense got gashed by Vautech last week. And when that happens, there's a natural tendency to say, I want to get the confidence back for my defense. Our offense is good. Let's keep them on the field a lot, keep our defense off the field, and maybe that'll help them some.
Under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. If we're going to get 100 points tonight, Rod, we're going to need to get a little bit ahead of this pace. We have just 7 on the board.
Who knew? Who knew it was a running game plan when you've got maybe the best quarterback in America?
I'm wondering, are we in Huntington, West Virginia? We're in the right place, right? These are the right teams. 10th play of the drive. Leftwich wide open, hits Wallace out of the backfield. Asante Samuel was there, and maybe the drop bugaboo is coming back.
Well, that's why I don't like the way this is going, because they had drops last week. They're dropping the ball now. I think they got to get into their rhythm of throwing the ball and throwing it a lot. Let the guys have a lot of opportunities so that they don't press when they get the few throws. They haven't had a lot of them in this ball game so far.
Curtis Head is on to attempt a 41-yarder. His longest is 31. So this from 41, and Head puts it through. Curtis Head has Marshall on the board. And with 1:29 to go in the first, UCF leads 7-3. Back in Huntington, West Virginia, UCF the lead. The wind starting to pick up. UCF is the 7-3 lead. Final 90 seconds of quarter number 1. Curtis Head, his career long is 41, and he tied it with his first quarter kick here tonight. Doug Gabriel, the burner, running it out to the 20 and tried to split through, and he's out to the 24-yard line, and that's where the Golden Knights will start. College football for you tomorrow on Saturday. Utah, Michigan, and Boston College and Miami. Utah, Michigan at noon. BC at Miami, 7:45 Eastern. The last time Boston College beat Miami, we're talking Doug Flutie.
Oh, I knew you knew about that thing. Huh? Back in the day. Yeah, they almost got him last year.
That's right. It was a thrilling game last year. Miami was able to pull it out. First down and 10 for Ryan Schneider and UCF. And he's going to put it on the ground to Alex Haynes. Haynes, the ball carrier. Looks like he could have enough for the first down. Chris Crocker, one of the leaders on that Marshall defense, made the stop.
Steve, the thing that makes the Marshall offense good is the thing that hurts the Marshall defense, and that's passing. They don't see enough running in practice. They don't see two back in practice, so the defense has a hard time adjusting when they play a team like this. I mean, there's an old saying in coaching, you know, if you are going to run the football, you're going to be able to defend the run. If you don't run it, then you can't defend it.
That's an excellent point. Out of the eye on first down and 10. Schneider hands it off to Haynes, the second man through, and he's out to the 38-yard line. Let's go down to the field and rejoin Alex.
Hey, Steve, well, Ryan Schneider is wearing some extra padding tonight because of those bruised ribs that he suffered while playing ASU. Now, he has been practicing all week, but he is wearing a traditional flak jacket. Just gives him a little bit of extra padding than what he usually has right around the ribs there. He says that he's feeling fine, just a tad bit sore. Certainly doesn't seem like he's sore tonight, does it, Steve?
Not after that 65-yard pass to Tavares Capers makes it a touchdown pass in 12 straight games for Schneider. He is halfway to tying the current record holder, guy by the name of Culpepper. Here's Schneider looking for another high ball and a heavy-duty hit at the 45-yard line. Chris Crocker just rocked the world of Jimmy Frizzell.
Oh, he showed up in a hurry, didn't he? I mean, Frizzell is a tough guy, too. I mean, we're talking about a wide receiver who can bench press over 400 pounds, but he wasn't ready for this thing. I mean, watch this hit as Frizzell waits in there. Bam! I mean, Crocker just shows up suddenly. That's sudden impact.
And to Frizzell's credit, he almost hung on to that football.
He's a tough guy.
Wow.
But Chris Crocker, though, rocked him.
There's your hit of the game.
Oh, yeah, there's a big stick, and that's a guy with 4.4 speed who came flying into Frizzell.
And the crowd started to get into it, making themselves heard for the thundering herd. This is third down and 6.
And you got a wide receiver in the backfield again.
And that again is Capers. And let's see. Yep. There's 10 seconds left on the clock, the quarter clock.
Marshall, that's their second timeout.
Yeah, they saw that they were not ready to deal with Capers in the backfield. They got the touchdown last time. This time, at least they recognized and said, whoa, oh, no, no, no. Not a second time.
Second timeout spent by Marshall. With 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. UCF on top, 7-3.
You know, Alex was talking about Schneider being banged up, but he's a tough guy. And he can handle that. Bad shoulder, tendonitis, bruised ribs. But he's one of those guys, they didn't care about that stuff.
Coaching staff told us what he lacks in athleticism, he makes up in just about every other area of quarterbacking. He's smart, reads the defense as well, and pre-snap and after the play knows everything that is going on. We welcome the men and women of Operation Enduring Freedom watching this telecast around the world on the American Forces Network, including a gathering tonight at the NCO Club in Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Have the beverage of your choice on us. Thanks for all you do.
Absolutely.
Hope you're enjoying the game. 3rd down and 6. And the crowd loud again, urging this Marshall defense on. They're rushing 4. They dump it off. Missed tackle early as Haynes is the carrier. Duran Smith finally brought him down. Just shy, it looks like, Rod, of the 1st down marker.
And what great feat by Haynes. I mean, he should have been tripped up with no gain. But his athleticism was on display there. I mean, he leaped over a guy, kept his balance when he didn't see the guy coming.
Might have been Goddard, the first man who had a shot at him. But you're right, quick feet of Haynes. Not even going to measure it. So it's 4th and inches. This will be UCF's first 4th down conversion attempt of the season.
Well, welcome to the MAC.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you're supposed to kick it here.
Central Florida, that's their first charge timeout.
Well, maybe they will before it's over. 2 seconds left in the quarter. In the first quarter, we've already seen 3 timeouts taken.
Yeah, but the Marshall timeout, the last one, that one was well-deserved.
It's a good timeout.
You know, don't give up another long touchdown pass. Take the timeout.
4th down and inches for UCF. Again, they have not attempted a 4th down conversion in either of their previous games. A 3-point loss at Penn State and blown out at Arizona State last week, although they were leading by 3 at the half and fell apart in the second.
That was a bizarre game. I mean, they controlled the first half. They were moving the ball. You know, they did everything they wanted. Gabriel had an 80-yard touchdown pass where he just bounced off of a corner and went the distance. But then what happens? They come out in the second half. They can't protect Schneider. You know, they had been protecting him well in the first half. He gets knocked around in the second half. They lose 3 offensive linemen, you know, and then all of a sudden, it's over with. They get blown out by the Sun Devils.
So here comes UCF. And if you're looking for the punter, forget about it. They're going for it on 4th down and 1 from the 44.
Well, before they called that timeout, they had Capers in there at tailback. And they don't need him in there in short yardage. They need Haynes in there.
Tight formation, they open. Now they spread it, and they snap it to Schneider, and he pushes the pile, and he has the 1st down. And that is the final play of quarter number 1. The big offensive play of the game, no question. Ryan Schneider, 65 yards to a wide-open Tavares Capers. And the big hit of the game, no question, that belongs to Chris Crocker. I don't know, 20, 25 years, that young lady might be telling her son, I went to the first ever matchup of UCF Marshall in the old MAC conference.
Yeah, she might be coaching.
It's a good point. We open the second quarter. Steve Levy, Rod Gilmore, Alex Flanagan. Friday night college football from Marshall, and Alex Haynes opens up quarter number 1. Loss on that play, and Marshall trailing 7-3. Clearly, Rod, not what we expected in this football game. The play selection for Marshall to this point, they have actually passed the football only 1 more time than they've rushed it. We expected the big numbers out of Leftwich and the Marshall offense. Haven't seen it to this point.
Yeah, and I'm not real crazy about that because I think it's not playing to their strength or their confidence, and I think they really need to get back to what they do well, which is establish the passing game and then run it. I mean, that's what they brought to this conference, and they don't have it right now. UCF is really the aggressor here.
Ryan Schneider is putting it up in the air, and he was throwing into double coverage, looking for Doug Gabriel, who's been quiet to this point except for a kick return. Gabriel is the real stud in terms of wide receivers and skill position for UCF.
Well, you're right. He's a big guy. He's 205 pounds, 6'2", and the problem that he presents is that people will bounce off of him when they try to tackle him. I mean, he's very strong. He's got strong legs, and he showed that against Arizona State, and he's going up against some smaller defensive back who will have the same problem with him tonight.
Elton Patterson Jr. had him as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. That'll be the best ever for UCF. Dante Culpepper went 11th in '99 to Minnesota. This is 3rd and 13. Quick throw, and it is caught by Luther Huggins, and then he's knocked out of bounds by Gladstone Koch. He's well shy of the first down. It's a gain of 8.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that, but Marshall forced it with the blitz. And Schneider did the right thing. You know, he saw that, he went to his hot receiver, and he kept the drive alive so that they got something out of it, didn't get a bad play that would have turned things back. Now it's his field position. They can punt the ball from here.
Ryan Flynn is on to punt it away. Both Flynn and Prater are replacing Javier Borlegui, who was the punter and kicker for UCF the last 3 years. Did a very nice job. Roberto Terrell is back deep. Flynn gets it away. Terrell, the fair catch, will let it bounce, and it will do so into the end zone despite a good effort by the UCF special teams. Peter Sands couldn't get to it in time. We'll come back. 7-3 UCF. The moon over Marshall, if you will. The first ever meeting. But get this, even if UCF had not joined the conference this season, they were scheduled to play each other this season. Now it's even better because it's a conference game. The conference opener. Tons on the line. Here's Leftwich now, throwing and completing. Curtis Jones, sideline. And he's knocked out at the 45-yard line, gain of 25. And that's the Leftwich Marshall offense we expect. Not what we saw in the first quarter. Leftwich looking for the end zone, and he found the wrong team.
Yeah, he misread a zone coverage in the end zone. Very rarely happens to him. And then UCF got it going with Tavares Capers on a 65-yard touchdown pass on a blown coverage by Marshall.
That Carlos Thompson interception was the first of the season by anybody on the field tonight. Marshall has yet to pick anybody off this season. That was UCF's first. Here's Leftwich looking down the middle of the field. Had a man and could not connect with the narrow Marriott. Large with wisdom, step for step, but Marriott had room in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and Leftwich just missed him. I mean, he had him there. They got the free safety out of the middle and ran the post. That's the play they were waiting for. And I think the problem that they had there is, you know, it's doing the stuff from the center. It's the 5-step drop. When Leftwich is more comfortable right now in the shotgun. They've gone to the shotgun the last 2 plays now, and I think that's where he wants to be when he's throwing the ball right now.
Leftwich, who, by the way, is being followed around by MTV over the last, and every other member of the media, by the way. The numbers on Leftwich, 7 of 14, 69 yards for 1 pick. Good protection there. And this time he's got his man. It's complete down to the 39. Jason Rader, the tight end. The prototypical tight end, Rader, 6'4", 260 out of St. Albans, West Virginia.
You know, but he's still not sharp. I mean, that ball was thrown behind his tight end. I mean, he had to turn around and get that ball. When Leftwich is on the money, he puts that ball out in front so Rader can catch it and turn up the field and run with it. So I think he hasn't found his rhythm yet. He will, since he's in the shotgun now, but it's taking him a little time right now.
Speaking of Rusty Rader, redshirted last year, sitting out after transferring from Georgia, still trying to get reps under his belt. Here's Leftwich. That looked like a good ball.
Yeah, buddy.
Here he's coming. Curtis Jones on the receiving end, and a pretty good stick there by Peter Sands, gain of 22.
Yeah, well, you know, you run that post to the middle, you scare those corners, and the safety think you can get deep. You come right back with the corner route. Come right back, and they just give you that room, and Leftwich just drops it right in there. Nicely done. Yeah, he's starting to feel it. He's starting to feel it. He loves that seam route.
Enough of this running game nonsense, he's saying. Let's put the ball in the air. Now, Marshall has had 12 and 11 play drives that resulted in a total of 3 points. We'll see what they do on this drive. From the gun. There's pressure up the middle. Corner of the end zone, and well overthrew Marriott.
Oh, and Leftwich is down.
And a hush goes over this crowd here as Leftwich will try to shake it off. Got plenty of pressure. The hit from Stanford Rule coming on the blitz.
Well, the one thing that coaches and scouts have said about him and his throwing mechanics is that he has a tendency to overstride with that front foot. Now, it's not a bad thing, except when you're in the NFL and you get the big guys rolling up on you and it hurt that front foot. You see, that time his own guy got rolled back on him.
2nd down and 10. Leftwich stays in. Put it on the ground. Brandon Carey. Let's go back. See exactly what happened to Leftwich.
Yeah, he gets rolled up here. Just watch his left leg, the left foot, front foot, stride up, and he gets rolled on. And not much you can do about that. I mean, Rader just gets pushed right back into him.
Loss of 1 on the play. Bring up a 3rd down and 11. This is not a field goal kind of offense for Marshall. They're used to touchdowns, especially here at home. They're 45-1 at home under Pruitt. Here's Leftwich throwing for the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown!
Oh.
Josh Davis. 18-yard bullet from Leftwich.
You said it. All right, how good is that? How good is that? I mean, there was not much room to stick that thing in there. And he just threw a dart.
It's got to feel good for Davis as well. He had a drop in the end zone a week ago on a 3rd and goal. Then Marshall went on and missed the field goal.
I tell you one thing, he doesn't catch that ball, it knocks him over.
Head able to pump it through for the extra point. And with 12:33 to play in the 2nd quarter, Marshall has taken the lead. The Heisman hopeful is heating up. Byron Leftwich on the money to Josh Davis.
ESPN2's College Football Friday Night. Brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Josh Davis, the Thundering Herd, they fell 47-21 at Virginia Tech last week. That cost them their national ranking, dropping from number 17 to no number at all. Marshall trying to get, I get the sense Marshall, when all is said and done, end of the season, they'll be a top 25 team.
Well, I think you're right, but they got to beat UCF for that to happen.
Doug Gabriel, forget about trying to return that kick, as Head put it out of the end zone.
See, let's go back to that great throw by Leftwich. A couple of different looks at it. What I want you to see here is just the great coverage. There's not going to be a whole lot of room. Hamilton will do a nice job. Right there, he has Davis covered. He's got him. He's got him. No room to get it in there. Leftwich gets it in there. And take a look from this angle. Watch this look, this throw. Not a lot of room. Bam. That's something.
NFL throw.
NFL throw all the way.
The only question about Leftwich, when you see what he does on the field, people are asking about the intangibles. He's a tough guy, what kind of leader he is. Everybody knows what kind of quarterback, what kind of throws he can make, and you got a good example of it there. Alex Haynes, the ball carrier, pick up a 2. Crocker brought him down.
Well, Leftwich has all those things. You know, he's smart, he's intelligent, he makes the right
guy.
Great guy, great character. But you know something? By the time he gets to the NFL draft, nobody will like him. They will have picked him apart to where people will question everything about him. No matter how great a player he is and how great an individual is, people will look for reasons not to draft him. But anybody who doesn't take him, yeah, they're going to regret that one.
Mike Gaines was shaken up, left the field. And tight ends for UCF. Schneider up play action with time, throwing, and incomplete. Off the hands of Capers. Might have led him a bit too much, and Schneider was taking a big hit. Terrence Tarpley had the coverage on Capers.
Well, that goes back to that offensive line that's been banged up. They have trouble protecting this man, and they have got to protect him. And he's the key to that offense. And they've got another 3rd down coming up here, Steve, and they have not done well.
3rd down conversions have been a problem. 0 for 2 tonight. They came in 0 for their last 11. On 3rd down conversions. You can't win football games without being able to convert on 3rd down. Here comes the blitz. picked up. Schneider's pass is knocked away. Jimmy Frizzell, the intended target. Roberto Terrell looked like he made contact just as the ball came to Frizzell.
Yeah, he did a really nice job of that, and Schneider made the right call. I mean, he picked up what was coming. The thing is, the trend in the game now is when quarterbacks make that adjustment, you jump the hot receivers, you jump the outlet receiver, and you force the quarterback to hold the ball. Schneider got it in there, got rid of it, didn't take a sack, but jumping the receiver worked for Marshall.
Roberto Terrell is back deep for Marshall at the 30. Ryan Flynn, the punted away for UCF. Gets it away. Terrell returned the opening kickoff of the season 100 yards, and it was called back by a holding penalty, so you know what he's capable of. This time he's brought down at the 35-yard line. D. Williford made the stop on the special teams after the punt of 48 yards and a 7-yard return. Let's go down to the field and Alex Flanagan.
Well, Steve, as you saw in that last series, Byron Leftwich rolled his ankle. He limped off of the field, then sat down on the training table and said, you know, that's the same ankle that they've already hit. So apparently it's kind of bothering him a little bit already. They wrapped it, gave it a little extra padding inside of the tape. And then Byron looked at me while he was sitting on the training table and said, I'm all right, no worries. Steve?
Certainly no worries, and you see the way he can throw the football. Byron Leftwich.
But, you know, but he takes everything in stride. He really
Absolutely.
does.
Says all the right things. They fake the reverse. Hand off to Brandon Kemp. He says all the right things, Rod. A lot of people say the right things, but they don't mean it. You get the sense with Leftwich, he really means this stuff.
Yeah, he comes across as a guy who loves to play the game, and he loves to throw the ball like this. You see what he's done already. Deep into the left side one time, a couple times to the left. He's had more success on the left side than on the right side. That chart shows you.
Just joining us, probably the first 24 plays, offensive plays for Marshall, they split it evenly, passing and running.
Yeah, and normally that'd be like 8 runs, 16 passes.
Right.
Tonight it was about 12 runs, 12 passes, and then 12 runs, 13 passes.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Salmons and Shulo on that left side for Marshall.
Yeah, there's Bob Pruitt, and you know, he's one of those guys that I think exemplifies the Steve Spurrier effect. I mean, Spurrier's influence is being felt in college football here in Pruitt. He coached with him, and Stoops at Oklahoma coached with them, and that thing is, hey, score a lot, be aggressive. You know, Buddy Stevens at Stanford, same thing now. That's the impact Spurrier's having.
Leftwich gets it out to Curtis Jones for the short gain. Atari Bigby wasn't buying Leftwich's fake to the left. Spurrier have his own steakhouse? What is it about coaches and steakhouses, right? Don Shula's got that whole chain in Florida.
I don't know, but Pruitt's got a pretty good one. He was nice enough to have us over to his place last night.
How about Alex going off the menu for a hamburger?
I know.
Right. We take her to a fancy steak place.
And a big hunking piece of red meat there, and she goes for the hamburger instead.
And congratulations to Alex. Alex and husband Kevin celebrating their 5-year anniversary tonight. Here's Leftwich now throwing, and it is behind Marriott. Still looked like he had a chance to bring it down, but could not.
Yeah, not on the money with that one. And, you know, you wonder, ankle? Has to be the ankle now. It can't be the rhythm. He showed last drive he had the rhythm going, and now he just sails this one. And remember, it's that left leg, the left ankle, that's the problem for him. He was trying to step over that thing, and that thing sailed on him a little bit.
How much of that is mental, Rod? Thinking about, hey, I could get rolled up on it again. How's my ankle feeling as he's in the process? Does that go through your mind?
Well, you know, I think it's a lot, but, you know, I never threw the ball in a game.
I've been in the backyard. Never went through your mind? Asante Samuel is back. One another good punt from Head. Samuel bring it out to the 35-yard line. 9:43 left in the half. Marshall by a field goal. Back as UCF gets set to take to the field with their offense. For Marshall, this is only the second game ever against a team from Florida, the state of Florida. They opened last season at #1 Florida and promptly lost 49-14. But Marshall, like UCF, not afraid to schedule some big boys, especially on the road. On first down and 10, handoff. Haynes broke through a tackle and then picked up some extra yardage. Gladstone Koch finally brought him down, shy of the first down, bring up a second down and short. Sunday Night Football on ESPN, NFL style. It's the Bengals and the Falcons. Michael Vick quickly becoming one of the NFL's most exciting quarterbacks. I think he found out he's also a target after what he said some of the Bears players and coaches were yelling at him. But the Falcons and Bengals, I mean, talk about a desperation game. Nobody wants to fall to 0-3.
Nope, they both need that one. But, you know, the Bears wouldn't go after Vick, would they? No.
Vic's going to find that each and every Sunday now. This Sunday night on ESPN. Schneider going down the middle of the field for Frizzell. Good coverage there by Roberto Terrell.
You know, you talked at the beginning of the show about how people need to know Schneider. And this guy is a great quarterback who has played in the shadow of guys like Leftwich. But, you know, he's done a lot of good stuff at UCF. And they had a pretty good quarterback there a few years ago in Dante Culpepper. But this man may do more for throwing the ball than what Culpepper did.
Another third down for UCF. They see for the season they are 0 for their last 14, dating back to last game. And they hand it off, and it works. Up the middle is Haynes with running room to the 20, trying to be angled. Forget it, touchdown. Alex Haynes on a 3rd down and 3. They hand it to Haynes up the middle, and he goes for 58 yards and the touch.
Oh, that's special. A man from Maynard Evans High School in Orlando, Florida, got with it. I mean, he broke a couple tackles, showed you a little juke, had some speed and great vision to find his way back to the middle of the field where it was open space.
3rd down conversions, clearly the key. They finally convert one, and it goes for the touch.
He got with it.
Prater is on for the extra point, and it is good.
You know, Marshall had trouble tackling great backs last week, but great backs will make you miss tackles. Now watch it. They'll have their shot right in here. Bang, bang, right there. A little too fast for him, and then he's in the open. I mean, good blocking at the point of attack, but a guy that can run through arm tackles and has great speed can make it happen. And you saw the strength of him as he got the little stiff arm at the end to give himself a little more room. Roberto Terrell felt that stiff arm. Watch this at the end. Watch number 2 try to get in there and get close. Watch the stiff arm here. Get away from me. A little real-time speed for you, Steve.
If you don't know about Alex Haynes, keep this in mind. Terrence Williams, who got an NFL look this season, he was Haynes' backup last season. So Haynes can play the game. And like Haynes, Ryan Schneider, a lot of these talented players on UCF that don't get a lot of national attention. Because you're starting to get it on ESPN too.
You know, there's a lot of talent down in Florida, and this is one of those guys. And UCF is starting to get some of those guys that don't wind up at Florida State, you know, Miami, you know, or is there another school down there? Florida, probably, too. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, whoever they are. Yeah.
Did you mention Maynard Evans?
I mentioned Maynard Evans.
You know who else went there?
Who's that?
Chocolate Thunder. Darryl Dawkins. How about that? Marty Aronoff pulling that one out.
Chocolate Thunder. He broke a few backboards in his day.
He did. Shattered some glass. Returning the kick now for Marshall to Manny Fagan. Talked to Bob Pruitt earlier this week. Asked him about his latest rival, UCF.
We just put them on the list, you know, because we're everybody's rival in this league. We've won the championship 4 out of 5 years, was runner-up the other year, won our division 5 straight years. When you sort of have your way with people, everybody wants to beat you, and everybody plays 20% better against you. And they're coming into the league and recognize that if history has anything to do with it, we're the team to beat.
They've won 4 of the last 5 MAC titles. They're looking to come back again with Brandon Carey across midfield. He's out to the 45. Gain of 19 for Carey. And they have been the dominant team in this conference. They won their division last year, but fell to Toledo in the MAC championship game.
Did you say Mac Daddy?
I didn't, but there it is.
Okay.
Mac, Is that Nelly related or not? None of those lyrics? Okay, I didn't know.
You start bumping a little Nelly in the car now, and now everything is Nelly related. You got it. You got it now.
It's not just Nelly, as you know. It's Nelly with Kelly. You told me to read that chart.
You know, I tell you.
Wednesday in the USA Today.
I think it's going to be a good year on Friday nights, bud.
Counting on it. You see some of the excellence by Marshall over the years. You think about this, Marshall is 43-1 here. Their one loss under Bob Pruitt at home to Western Michigan in 2000. You see the record since 1997. They are 55-12 since Marshall and Pruitt moved to Division 1A. 55-12.
It's pretty special. And it's also special to see Chris Palinko get up after having been down there on the carpet.
Palinko, a versatile guy on that UCF defense. Had an injury problem last year. Played 7 games before suffering an ankle injury. He's a former walk-on. You always root for those guys. Palinko is attended to. Curtis Jones splits out far side to the right. First down and 10 for Leftwich across midfield. 8:10 to go here in the first half. Marshall put it in a perfect spot. Jones, the receiving end of that pass from Leftwich.
But, you know, it's a very nice offense. What they try to do is create space in between defensive backs. So they ran one receiver short and then another receiver deep and make the defensive backs decide who they have to take. And Leftwich just drops the ball in between the two defensive backs. And it's a well-conceived offense. And he's just reading the front defensive back. If he goes deep, he comes up, throws it to the short guy. If he comes up, he'll throw it behind, as he did that time, to the deep receiver.
Gain of 23 on the play. Leftwich 150 yards passing to this point. And we're not even at halftime. Hand off for Carey. Finds some running. We're still on his feet. Stays on his feet. Will they give it to him? No. Down at the 1-yard line. Asante Samuel making the touchdown saving stop.
Well, with Brandon Carey, you get a little shake in the Marshall offense. You know, Butch Wallace is a power runner. This guy's got some shake. You see the shake there? He'll make 3 guys miss here. A good back has to make 1 guy miss. This guy just made 3 of them miss, almost got into the end zone, and that little shake can give you some big plays.
Carey threw a couple of touchdown passes last year, even hit Leftwich in a win for a touchdown pass. And Carey puts it in. Touchdown. Late signal, but there's the indication. Touchdown, Thundering Herd.
That's a nice coaching job. I mean, the guy worked so hard to get down to the 1-2 yard line. Let him finish it off. And that's what Bob Pruitt did.
Carey, who is averaging 8.1 yards per carry tonight, gets the 6 there. Curtis Head is back on to attempt the extra point. And here are the points we were talking about early. Head boots it through. So it's 7:39 to play here in the first half. We've got 30 on the board. Will we hit 100 tonight? Stick around. Friday night college football coming to you from Huntington, West Virginia. 31 points on the board now after that extra point. Rod, Alex, and I'll pack up the van. How come you don't have your own van to take it across country?
I don't know. I don't need a bus. I guess
the Madden Cruiser? No, nothing like that?
Levy van, that'd be pretty good.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
I know, but it could work.
Friday night college football. Next Friday night, we'll come to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Texas Tech will be in town. Friday night college football. Curtis Head. Is he going to sail it out of the end zone again? And he is. And so UCF will take over on 1st and 10. Their own 20. ABC college football for you. It's Notre Dame and Michigan State. 12th ranked, the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame has created 11 turnovers in their first 3 wins. They've turned that into 43 of the Irish's 71 points. That's tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ABC.
You see that Michigan State has dominated this thing over the last several years, and you can be certain that Tyrone Willingham has made his team aware of the fact that streaks like that have to end.
Tie catch a break last week with that game against Michigan. What do you think there? It's a question of the calls in college football are league to go. Doug Gabriel, they have to find a way to get the ball into his hands. And they do it that time. He's very close to the first down marker.
What do you mean questionable calls? You think you actually have to carry the ball over the goal line to get a touchdown?
I haven't read the rule book in a while, but the last time I checked, that was
you know,
criteria
that's called
for a
the luck of the Irish.
I see. Second down and short, we'll call it. In a 17-14 football game here at Marshall Stadium. We're talking about a new record crowd for the stadium that opened in '91. Previous record about 33,000, might be over that tonight. And the rain has held off to this point. Sean Gaudian, the fullback, his first carry of the game. Jameis Martin stopped.
You know, the Golden Knights have been walking the walk after all the talk they did coming into this ball game. And I bet Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss are going at it.
They're sitting there?
Yeah, they're going at it with this one. They got something riding on this game.
Normally they're probably playing the video game, but tonight I think they're watching the real game.
They got something on it.
We appreciate the efforts of those fine two NFL players, providing us with some material for our broadcast tonight. Schneider released as he was belted. Gaudian got to it on the far side. Good pressure by Jonathan Goddard. It's a gain of 17.
How did he get rid of that ball? I mean, that is one heck of a play by a quarterback. You watch this guy here. I mean, Schneider gets this thing out when he's about to get snapped. He gets hit, and he still gets rid of it. He gets smashed, and the ball still gets out of there. That's special.
He put his arm through the arm of Goddard.
I don't know how he did
the pass.
He got it out of there.
That's focus, that's concentration, and that's what Schneider is all about. Schneider will throw, and it is dropped by Tavares Capers, who earlier had the 65-yard touchdown catch.
But, you know, we were talking to the Marshall coaches about Schneider, and they said, you know, we hate that guy. Hey, he's a coach's son, and you don't like to see a quarterback who's a coach's son because he's going to make the right reads. He's going to be a tough guy. He'll take the hits. He'll get up. He'll keep coming back. And they were saying, we just hate playing quarterbacks like that.
There are the numbers on the two quarterbacks tonight. Both have thrown for a touchdown. Leftwich picked off one time. Handoff. Haynes halfway to another first down.
I tell you one thing. Haynes is looking an awful lot like Lee Suggs, you know, did last week against this Marshall team. And the problem for Marshall is that they are really small inside. When you look at their two tackles inside, they go at 270 and 265. So they're giving away, you know, 30, 40, 50 pounds inside when they face, you know, normal-sized guards in the NFL.
Ryan Miller has checked in. He is the backup quarterback. He also plays the tight end position. And he's number 14. You'll watch for him. They put it on the ground at Haynes. And he is brought down shy of the marker.
Now, do you go for it here on fourth down and about 2? Or you kick that ball away? And now, me, being naturally conservative,
yes,
I would play field position. I'd kick the ball away.
Are you naturally conservative? Is that what you consider yourself?
Well, you know, in football anyway.
Evidently, UCF also is naturally conservative. Ryan Flynn is on to punt it away. Haynes, by the way, is over 100 yards. 13 carries, 105 yards. And Flynn is at the punt. He's at the 40. Roberto Terrell is back at his own 15. Pressure from the outside. Flynn got it away. And it will drop at about the 1 and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Speaking of quarterback comparisons, here's Alex.
Hey, Steve, you guys talked about Culpepper and Moss watching. Well, they aren't the only NFLers. Another former Marshall quarterback, Chad Pennington, is glued to the TV right now. He is actually one of Byron Leftwich's best friends. They call each other the night before each other's games. Of course, Chad plays in New York, and they call and talk about the game. And Chad kind of gives Byron a little bit of advice on how to play. He said, keep your head up on this game. Just get back into it after last week's game. Now, they say that they actually don't talk football all that much. They talk more about family, friends, maybe girls, stuff like that, Steve.
Girls?
Oh, no.
Brandon Carey, the ball carrier. Elton Patterson is at a quiet night to this point. Reese has been rather quiet as well. Let's send it back to him.
I'm going to change all that right now, Steve, because the high school showcase is underway. Providence Catholic against Joliet Catholic in beautiful Joliet, Illinois. This is Ryan Quigley from Joliet firing deep, and he's picked off by Mark Reeder. And watch this terrific return. Oh, he's a bull. Got him back into Joliet territory, and they're inside the 20.
All right, Reese, keep us posted on thrilling high school action. That game in particular, but action taking place all over the country. Leftwich throwing it. Darius Watts catching it.
Yeah, that was a dart. And, you know, you mentioned Joliet. We saw the highlight. That's a big game for them because they're rated number 18 in the country. They got a chance to move up. Big games out in Hawaii this weekend. De La Salle, Long Beach Poly are playing, and they're playing, at least De La Salle is playing St. Louis from Honolulu, which is rated number 17.
De La Salle have like 126 game winning streak.
Something's got to give. So there's a chance for Joliet to move up.
I should have attended that high school. A trip to Hawaii.
That's not
a pretty good deal. On first down and 10 for Leftwich. They're rushing 4 at him. The pass protection is good. Now the pocket breaks down. Leftwich still on his feet and throws it and completes it to Brandon Carey. Atari Bigby brought him down. I don't know if he was the safety valve there or not, but it worked out.
He was just a guy. He was a guy that was around. And, you know, when you're being harassed, you look for a guy, somebody to help you out. And all of a sudden, he looks around. He's, oh, I got to get out of this thing. And, uh-oh, there's Carey. I got a guy. Well, when you're 250 pounds, and maybe a little bit more, you got a chance to stay alive when people are trying to knock you down.
Leftwich did a good job there. Hey, he does everything well. He's just one of those guys. There's everything going for him. Leftwich again will drop back, and this time throw hits Marriott. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And it's a short gain. It'll bring up about a 3rd and 5. College football Friday night from Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. Again, Marshall was the number 17 team in the nation before last week's loss. UCF blown out at Arizona State a week ago, although they had a 3-point lead. And their ESPN2 game track, total yards to this point. Marshall really balanced. UCF balanced as well. And the score is balanced in the 3-point game. Just over 3 minutes to play before the half. 3rd down and 5. Keep in mind, Marshall has just 1 timeout left. Little dump off pass. Wide open is Carey with running room. And he is spun around and knocked out at the 41-yard line. Stanford Rule put the hit on Leftwich as he released, and a gain of 19.
He found the guy again. He got his guy. And this guy is hot. I mean, sometimes you get into a groove, and Carey is in a groove. He had a long run. He got a touchdown. And he has 103 yards already in this ball game. And so why not look for him when you're in trouble? He's having a career night.
Carey has the 1-yard touchdown run for Marshall. And his numbers overall. On first down and 10 now at the 41 for the Thundering Herd. Rushing game has been really non-existent. They had 34 net yards on 16 carries against Virginia Tech, but they were behind and obviously passing the football. They're passing the football now, and it is caught. At the 21, Josh Davis with a fine catch.
Hey, this is getting to be old hat when you see a bullet like this. You just sit back and enjoy this guy as he just delivers a bullet. I mean, how pretty is that? And you don't have to be an NFL scout to know that that is a good throw.
Alex spoke of Leftwich and Chad Pennington earlier, and Leftwich said he learned a lot about him on the field and off the field in terms of, you know, all the attention that Pennington was receiving. The Heisman hype, everybody tugging at you, pulling at you, the interview requests. He was able to go through it, watch Pennington go through it, and he says it's really helped him to handle it right now. Little pitch. Carey going to throw it. He wanted to throw it. And it is run by Carey. Instead, he was looking for Leftwich. We told you last year, earlier, in the win over Miami, Carey threw 2 touchdown passes, including one to Leftwich, and that at the time gave him the highest pass efficiency rating in the nation.
Yeah,
2 for 2.
He wants to do it again here. Chad Pennington never got a chance to do an awful lot of this. I bet they'll talk about this one. Man, I almost had a chance to get a touchdown catch again.
Right.
But Carey pulled it down, though. Watch Byron sneak on out here. He's looking right now. I want the ball. He was open for a hot second.
Not a great route run by Leftwich, I thought that. He's got a polish there. We're looking for a flaw in Byron Leftwich. I think we found it. Doesn't run great routes. Here's Mary out of the flanker screen. He was brought down at the 12-yard line. Apparently Leftwich has a new nickname here in the area. They're calling him Flippin'. Whether he's flipping touchdown passes or flipping switches, that's Byron Leftwich.
Okay.
Final 90 seconds here of the half, and there is an injured player down.
Does he like that nickname?
Tari Bigby, I believe he does. Bigby is down. Don't need a uniform number to identify Bigby as long as he takes the helmet off.
Yep, let's go with the dreads. I tell you, though, if he is out of the ballgame for any period of time, that's a problem for UCF. He's their emotional leader. I mean, he's the guy that gets them pumped up back there in the secondary.
Bigby got the big stick against Arizona State. UCF hands that out for a punishing block or a big hit. College football for you, but plenty of big hits. Tomorrow, the noon game, Eastern on ESPN, is Utah against Michigan. Michigan's defense leading the nation in sacks per game last season. They've already racked up 15 in the first 3 games this season. BC is going to head to Miami. 7:45 Eastern, little prime time college football for you down in South FLN.
And I know that BC has been waiting a long time to get another shot at Miami. They felt like they outplayed them last year and that they should have won that ball game. But for the fluke interception that Ed Reed took back for the touchdown, that ended up being the play that saved Miami's season.
Set for an update again, and let's send you back to Reese Davis.
Steve, again, the high school showcase in Joliet, Illinois. Providence Catholic going to Andrew Hopkins, the kicker, and 35-yard field goal. The first points of the season scored against Joliet. It's 3-0 Providence.
All right, Reese, thank you. Keep us posted. Their final 90 seconds. Steve Shulo is the star offensive lineman for Marshall, number 75. You know, I'm starting to pay attention more to this high school stuff, Rod. And Shulo went to Shaler Area High School in Pennsylvania. We touched on them early in the season.
You know, we'll hit them all before the season is over, I guarantee you. Top 25, be near you.
There is Shuler on the Playboy All-American squad. I'm thinking, if I got to be on one All-American squad, that's the one I'd like to be on.
He's going to wind up getting his jersey retired at his high school, you know, by the time he gets to the NFL.
3rd down and 1 upcoming. Leftwich this quarter 11 of 14 for 169 yards. And they've got first down yardage there, and they're just jumping on the pile. Minute 15 left here in the half. Again, keep in mind, Marshall had to burn 2 timeouts, 2 defensive timeouts early in the first quarter. We'll see if that costs them here as they approach the goal line.
Yeah, you know, you'd like to have it, but they've got enough time here. But, you know, as we talked about before, one of those timeouts was well spent. Yeah, because they were fooled and gave up a long touchdown pass, and then they recognized the same set and used the timeout to keep from being burned a second time.
Leftwich perfect on this drive. They have the first down. 1st and goal now from the 7-yard line. 60 seconds to play in the half. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. And he'll put it on the ground to Brandon Carey. So Wallace early, but since then it's been Carey's show. And the clock ticks down.
He's the hot guy. And you play your hot hand.
Again, 1 timeout left for Marshall. And they're taking their time. 2nd down and goal. Coming up on 30 seconds left in the half. Marshall by a field goal, looking to take a bigger lead into the locker room with them. Leftwich looking, end zone, no. Watts came down with it, but he was out of bounds.
And he got up there. And Darius Watts is 6'2", and he's got about a 40-inch vertical leap. And he used every bit of it that time to get up, but he was about a yard out of bounds.
And if you want to say all Watts does is catch touchdown passes, you'd be right. Last year led the nation with 18 touchdown catches. Wow, he did get up.
Oh, yeah.
Almost hurdled the DB.
Yeah, it's Patrick Holland out there who was looking at his belly button.
This is 3rd and goal now from the 6. 17 seconds left in the half. Leftwich firing, loaded up. Tip ball, got it up. Nearly intercepted, also nearly caught by Marriott, but it falls as an incomplete pass. Davis was in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah, and they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt here, and you know they don't like that. I mean, at Marshall you score touchdowns, and they've gone for too many field goals for their liking tonight. That ball had just too much on it for Davis to catch it, and that was a bullet, and Davis couldn't handle it. I mean, he hit him in the hands, but it was thrown so hard he couldn't handle it.
Curtis Head on to attempt a 22-yarder. There is motion, there are flags, and the field goal is good. You see there was movement before the snap. Looks like it was against UCF. Marshall will decline.
Both sides on the defense. Penalties declined. Points good.
So the field goal is good for Marshall. They up their lead to 6. We'll be right back. West Virginia. Marshall after the field goal. They have the 6-point lead. Coming up, send you back to our college game day guys. The halftime report, the high school showcase, Friday night tailgate, and the big game analysis. That's all coming up with Reese, Mark, and Trev back in the studio. Spent last week in the studio with the boys. I said, hey, Rodney sends regards. He misses you guys. They're like, Rod who? Never heard of the guy. Where's the love, Rod? Where's the love? 11 seconds left in the half. Head puts it in the air. And again, out of the end zone. What a job by Curtis Head. Out of the end zone.
Little wind at his back. And just to go back, Steve, remember that Marshall elected not to take 3 points off the board. Yeah, he had to decline the penalty because they would have had a 4th down at about the 2.5. And with 11 seconds, 1 timeout, they hadn't had success. They said, we'll take the 3.
And you've mentioned before you are traditionally conservative in terms of football.
No. Naturally conservative about football.
And so therefore you agree with that decision.
Yes, I do.
You don't take points off the bar. Always a cardinal sin. Whether you went to Stanford or not.
Oh, working in every angle. I thought you were going to mention that was a Nelly song.
No, is it?
Not as far as I know.
Schneider will take a knee, and we'll do the same. That's it, the end of the first half. Not a lot of offense early. A lot of running by 2 passing-oriented offenses. And then things heated up into the second quarter. The numbers on Byron Leftwich. In the first half, 17 of 28, 213 yards, a touchdown and a pick. And Alex is standing by with Byron's head coach. They have about an $8,000 budget to push Byron Leftwich for Heisman hopeful as the opening kick to the second half. Doug Gabriel on the returning kick out to the 20-yard line. As we look at our game track, Byron struggled a bit early. They went really even run pass, but then he came on.
And he came on with a vengeance. He was making every throw possible after getting picked off in the first quarter. He came back with just a bullet for a touchdown. But Josh Davis found his rhythm as they went to the shotgun. Geared up for the second half.
Leftwich will watch Ryan Schneider. And the UCF offense try to get something going. A little pitch to Alex Haynes, who had himself a fine first half. And he's out to the 25. Jameis Martin made the stop. Let's go down to the field and Alex.
Well, Steve, a number of things from the locker rooms at the half. First of all, UCF has a number, of ankle sprains. Michael Gaines, Chris Palinko, Atari Bigby, all have suffered ankle sprains on the turf down here. They have wrapped them all. They will all play, but that is bothering them a little bit. UCF's coach says more passing in the second half. They have to answer on the first possession with a touchdown, he told his team. For Coach Pruitt, he said they have to get 7 points, not kick field goals. He said that UCF is dropping 8-man down when they're in the red zone, so expect to see Marshall to run when they are down in the red zone. Steve?
All right, Alex, we'll look for all of that. Luther Higgins on the receiving end of that pass from Schneider. Yancey Satterwhite to stop.
Well, Alex makes a good point following up on the coach saying they need to pass UCF in the second half. Well, they didn't get the ball to Doug Gabriel in the first half. He's their big play receiver, and he hasn't done anything in this game. And one of the objectives you've got to believe in the second half is to get the ball to Gabriel.
Some of that has to be on the Marshall defense, maybe taking him away. And we'll watch as they look to go to him. Schneider hands it off to Haynes. Slips through, and he's out ahead, first down yardage, and out to the 34-yard line. Some numbers from half number one. Well, want to circle something there?
Yeah, well, I'd like to, but I can't right now. But take a look at the passing yards. 108 for UCF, 65 on one play. So they're struggling with the passing yardage. 18 first downs by Marshall. Let me try this thing. Hey. There we go. Hey, I got toys now. I can circle
time of possession is certainly interesting. 9-minute advantage there. Two tight ends. First Schneider is looking to pass. Good protection. Goes down the middle of the field. Nearly intercept. Gabriel was the intended target. Terrell thought he had a chance to pick it, but at least there's an indication that they're looking for Gabriel.
Well, you got to give him a chance. Yeah, the defense is good, and they're going to double him. They'll combo him, all those things to make it tough to get the ball to him. But you cannot let a defense take away your primary target by design. You just can't concede it. You have to force the issue some and get your big guy into the ballgame.
He is a big guy, 6'2", 205. He's got that prototypical NFL wide receiver kind of size and speed. Second down and 10. 3 receivers to the right for Schneider. Looking in that direction. Lofts one. Wide open was Frizzell. Looks like he was down there at the 38-yard line. There was pressure by J.T. Rembert. Schneider couldn't lead him on a soft pass. Because of that, didn't allow any extra yards after the catch.
Considering how much they struggle with the passing game, I wonder how much the ribs and the tendonitis in the shoulder have really bothered Ryan Schneider tonight. He's only 7 of 14, 117 yards, and again, 65 came on one play.
On 3rd and 5. Off the play action. Got a man wide open and overthrew Michael Gaines, who goes 6'3". I'd say he needed to be about 7 feet tall to grab that one.
Yeah, that was not pretty. That was not one of the finer moments from Schneider. And this guy, Krusak, he knows about quarterback play. He was a backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, won a couple of Super Bowl rings.
Played for Chuck Noll, pretty good guy to learn something about coaching from as well. Terrell is back deep. Flynn is at his 25. Terrell standing at about the 12. Puts the foot into it. It is a good punt. High spiraling punt. Terrell will let it bounce, and it will do so right into the end zone. It's a 61-yard punt by Ryan Flynn. A 6-point lead for Marshall, and they're getting the ball. Back at Marshall, their first possession of the second half. As Alex relayed the message, Mike Kruzek said on their first possession they needed a touchdown, didn't even get the field goal.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good deal. I mean, because your defense heard that too, and now they go, oh, coach says we don't score on a touchdown, we might not win this ball game.
Right.
I don't think that sets it up well for your team. I think you got to tell them you got to score first before the other team.
Leftwich will get rid of it. And it'll go for the short gain to Darius Watts. Good one-on-one tackle by Asante Samuel, who's had himself a good game.
Yeah, because what you do when you say that is your offense has the expectation. We go score, we're in the ball game. We go and we don't score, now we're in trouble. Your defense understands that as well, and they go, okay, well, the offense didn't get it done. Maybe they won't get it done. Now there's more pressure on us, and you want your guys to be free and loose in the ball game. So I think it's okay to say, look, we got to score before they score. And everybody knows that. You might not get it done on the first drive, but everybody knows what's at stake.
It's like the old coach who says, hey, it's a must-win game. Well, what happens if you don't win it?
Exactly.
Then what, the season's over? Leftwich completing, and a good crunch on the far side. Samuel came up with the hit on the running back, Brandon Carey.
Well, you know, the other thing that coaches say that I don't think is real good is they say, you know, we can't make turnovers in a game. Well, you're going to make turnovers. It's going to happen.
Right.
The key is you've got to get more turnovers than you give up. If you can do that, then you'll be all right. But you don't want your team to feel like we make a turnover. Oh, coach said we can't make turnovers. Now we lose.
Now,
Game's over.
If both of these coaches say, hey, we can't commit penalties, they're right. We've had only 2 penalties in the football game. And that's impressive. 3rd down and short for Leftwich and Marshall. Leftwich throwing and completing to Arrow Marriott. Maybe too much respect for the speed of Marriott by the UCF DBs. There was quite a cushion there.
You know the feeling. You've been out there on the corner like that, and you got a guy who can just run by you. Maybe you give him a little bit more room, and then it hurts. He catches everything in front of you, and the coaches keep telling you, get closer, get closer. You go, you get closer. I don't want him to run by me.
Marriott 4 catches, only 21 yards to this point. Leftwich is changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers to his right, looking in that direction. Good protection, pressure from behind. Steps up, still on his feet. And now finally, he'll be wrestled down. That'll be a gain of like 5 off a play that should have been a sack. Byron Leftwich showing off some strength there, although he put himself in a vulnerable position to take a big shot.
Yeah, you know, he says, you guys didn't hurt me, I can handle this, but you know, you don't want him doing this. This is not what you want the key guy on your team doing, taking up and taking all those shots. Hey.
6 yards on that. You call that carry, I guess?
He was carrying some guys.
The numbers on Byron Leftwich, who broke just about every single passing record there is in the MAC 1 season ago.
And keep in mind, Chad Pennington was a pretty good quarterback here at Marshall and set some records of his own.
There are the MAC records from Leftwich from a season ago. He is 3rd in school history in touchdown passes behind Michael Payton and Chad Pennington. So he's 2 shy of Payton. He's 48 shy of Pennington, which tells you what kind of career he had here.
Well, and he's done it in the MAC, but he's also played very well against the big schools. He played well against Florida last year. Played well against Michigan State a couple years ago. And obviously played well against Virginia Tech last week when he threw for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Chad Masco, the middle linebacker, being attended to for UCF. Notre Dame and Michigan State tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. The Fighting Irish revved up, looking to go 4-0. Looking for their first 4-0 start since '93 against the Michigan State team that'll have plenty to prove on their home field after having their doors blown off by Cal a week ago.
Cal Bears ate them alive.
Handoff by Leftwich to Brandon Carey. Bring up, looked like a 3rd down and short. Garen Bray made the stop.
You heard Coach Pruitt talk about the need to run the ball. Mark May said, hey, run the ball. You know, it's the linemen. Linemen like to run the ball. I think Trev Alberts is right.
Yeah, why are we doing it in the eye?
Yeah. But Trev is right. You throw the ball like that.
Marriott had a couple of receivers in front of him to block for him. And they pick up 1st down yardage.
the personality of your team is something that is very fragile. You don't want to destroy that. You want to have an identity. And the identity of the Marshall program is, hey, we throw it, we attack you, we make it tough on you, we stress your coverage, we stress you everywhere. And when you settle in and run the ball, you give away that personality and that advantage.
First down and 10. 2 receivers each side. Byron Leftwich takes the handoff, and again it's Marriott out to the 46. Coaching staff told us, hey, Marriott has not had his big game this season. Last year, he had a couple of big games. He was the team MVP in the MAC title game. 10 catches, 179 yards, and 4 scores. In the GMAC Bowl, he set records. 15 catches, 234 yards. That's number 4 and 5 all time in any bowl.
And that was a bowl game, right?
That was pretty thrilling. 30 points, down 30 at halftime. Under 10 to go here in the third. Again, they keep it on the ground. It's Carey. Shy of the first down marker. He's out at the 42. Genty made the stop.
That's a nice little play that a lot of teams are running. They try and run that little inside zone play. They start it to the strong side or the tight end side where you find more defenders, and then the running back, in this case Carey, breaks it back to the weak side. You see, he starts one way with it and he tries to get back over here to the weak side where there are fewer defenders.
3rd and 3. If I was an offensive coordinator, I would try to go to the side with fewer defenders, Rod. That's something I would try. Here's Carey. Carrying the ball, first down yardage. He's out to the 35-yard line. You know, I mean, just to look down the road, okay? I mean, maybe Marshall is going to show some future opponents. They can do some other things besides throw the football.
Well, it balances out your tendencies. You know, everybody looks back and say, what are they doing first down? What are they doing second down?
Right.
Well, now they've got a game where they have messed up the statistics. You know, when somebody pulls a tape of Marshall and they run their computer, they'll say, oh, they ran the ball out on first down. They can fool them.
Gives future opponents something else to think about, something else to practice.
Yep.
Take some time away from maybe something else they would want to do. Carey has 17 carries, 100 yards. Leftwich is actually going to put it in the air. Throwing and nearly intercepted. Marriott was there. And some good coverage on the play. Samuel was there as well. That was nearly picked off.
Yeah, Asante Samuel got there, and every quarterback has to have a little bit of confidence, a little bit of arrogance, where he thinks he can throw a football where nobody else can. And Byron Leftwich did it that time. He thought he could stick one in there, even though Samuel just had Marriott covered. Great.
Dating back to last season, Leftwich has 5 straight games, at least 400 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns. Threw for 3 scores last week against Virginia Tech, all in the final 12 minutes. Though he had a couple of touchdown passes dropped. Leftwich standing in, throwing, and completing. Josh Davis in the end zone, touchdown. Davis looks like he's hurt. It'll feel better to know he's in the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Marshall.
Davis is still down, and Leftwich kind of limped off the field as well.
Leftwich had the ankle problem earlier in the game.
Steve, let's take a look at this play. Keep your eye on the safety here. What's going to happen is he's going to see a corner, a post curl in there. He's going to come over here and not realize he's got Davis coming back the other way. Nice messy drawing. I like that. Safety comes in, looks up, now the middle is open. Nobody on that side, and then the inside safety on the top also pays attention outside. Both safeties did a poor job on this deal.
Davis, 2 touchdown catches. He's got 4 catches in the game for 78 yards. 2 of them for scores. 36 at 18 yards. And he'll get quite a hand from this herd following as he steps off the field under his own power. And they're going to go for 2. Leading by 12, they'll go for 2. Leftwich surveying the defense. Looks to his right and knocked away, and the flag comes late. Curtis Jones, the intended target. Rovell Hamilton appeared to be all over him. That's good coverage unless there is a flag, which there is.
Yeah, Curtis Jones called for it.
Pass interference on the defense. The ball will be placed at the 1.5. Replay the try.
Now, Steve, you never want to have the receiver in front of you around the goal line. You always want the receiver to be behind you. You want to be, as a defensive back, between the quarterback and the receiver. Even if you're playing zone, you want to make sure they throw that ball up over you, not a straight line bullet, because you got to do that. You got to commit pass interference.
Rovell Hamilton was listed as a backup, got his first career start against Arizona State, and he's called for pass interference there. So they inch it closer to the goal line. Leftwich wants to take it off himself, and cannot do it. Elton Patterson, that's a huge defensive play, keeping this a 12-point game. And Leftwich, who showed so much strength earlier in the game when being piled on, can't get into the end zone.
No, Patterson does a nice job here, but how about the touchdown pass? Davis, nice inside, gets into the end zone, his second score of the day.
Leftwich and Marshall looking to send UCF to a 3-game road losing streak to open this season. UCF finally get to play a home game when Liberty comes to the Citrus Bowl in Orlando next week. How about that for a 3-game road trip to open the season at Penn State, at Arizona State, at Marshall?
That's not a good way to start.
Talk about taking on the big boys all on the road. Doug Gabriel finally has a kick he can field from the 2, and Gabriel shows some stuff getting out to the 30-yard line. So they went for the 2-point conversion and failed. What do you think about going for it?
You know, Reese Davis and I complained about this last year. You don't go for 2 points until you get in the 4th quarter. You do it in the 3rd quarter. Now you got to keep trying. Now Elton Patterson does a good job of getting a good big body on another big body, Byron Leftwich, and keeping him out of the end zone. But you don't go for 2 points until the 4th quarter, because now 26-14. Next time you got to go for it again and again and again.
Patterson is their big stud on defense. Makes his first big play of the game. We'll see what the offense can do now. Trailing by 12. Alex Haynes, the ball carrier, and Jameis Martin brought him down. A little stutter step.
But you got to give some credit to this Marshall defense. It's a young defense. It's a fast defense, but a very young defense. And they got rocked early in the ball game with the big touchdown pass. But since then, you know, they've played a pretty tough game. And their game in the 2nd half here now. Jameis Martin, the guy who made that play.
It's a Marshall defense that was rocked often last year, allowed an average of 416 yards per game. Probably cost Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator, his job. Schneider pass on the money to Doug Gabriel. Wow, and you see he's like a magnet. Gabriel gets the ball. All the guys in the green jerseys are ready to converge on him.
Yeah, at this point, he's going to get a lot of attention. I mean, he'll get 2 or 3 guys because they're ahead of UCF by a couple scores now. And sometimes, Steve, I think coaches outsmart themselves. You watch Virginia Tech run the ball against Marshall, and you go, hey, let's run the ball against them. But, you know, it's not what you do. UCF is best when Schneider throws the football.
That's Gabriel's first catch of the game. Schneider will pass, will complete to Michael Gaines, his tight end. First down yardage and more. Now you can see Schneider and the UCF offense starting to get some rhythm when they throw on consecutive plays.
You know, and you get the cliche from coaches, hey, we're going to do what we do. Well, this has been a game where coaches have not done what they do. They've done something other than what they do because they thought, okay, we'll outsmart the other guy. It makes sense, we'll do it. But it's not what they do. And now UCF is starting to throw the ball, and now they're better. They've only run the ball 3 times in the 2nd half, and they really ran it in the first half.
Wow, look at that first half number. Very surprising when you know something about UCF. First down and 10 at the Marshall 42. Hand off to Alex Haynes. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Gladstone Coke brought him down.
I mean, you know, Steve, it's almost like, hey, Nebraska runs the option. Hey, they run it well. Why don't we run it? Well, you know.
We don't have the talent to, to potentially run it the way they do.
It's not what you do.
David Ashkenaz, the offensive lineman, was a player injured for UCF. Speaking of Nebraska, that was a lot of fun watching that game with Trev sitting next to me last week. Wow.
Penn State put a whooping on him.
Brandon Marshall, the intended receiver. Bring up a third down and 10.
Let's see. That was a bouncer. Short hop. Pretty good play for a shortstop.
Yep. Here's your third and 10. 3 receivers to the left. And here's Schneider. Good protection. Steps up and throws. And it is dropped by Gabriel. So they make an effort to get it to him. And he can't hang on.
You know, Schneider had a lot of patience, and he waited for this thing to open up for him, and he got it. Now, you're going to watch Gabriel come in here. They're going to clear everything out for him, and he's going to be right there at the first down marker. Just watch him get open there. Settle in. Nice. They cleared everything out for him. He drops the ball.
Still third down conversion problems, and there was just a drop, but the 2 for 8 UCF is on third down. The one conversion, one of the 2 conversions, was Haynes' 58-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Ryan Flynn would put it in the air. Terrell. No return. And they'll start at the 10-yard line. College football Saturday for you. Utah will take on 14th-ranked Michigan. That's the noon game on ESPN, and then prime time at night, Boston College and Miami. The Hurricanes, #1 in the land. They've a nation-leading streak of 25 wins in a row. They've won 17 straight games inside the Orange Bowl. Leftwich hands off to Brandon Carey.
You know, you mentioned that Boston College-Miami game. I think Brian St. Pierre at quarterback for Boston College is going to have a big game. As you see Gabriel on the sideline there after having dropped that ball. But, you know, for Boston College, you're not going to run that ball against Miami very well. St. Pierre is a senior quarterback, veteran guy. He's going to have to step up and make plays for him.
Again, the ground game. Carey, the ball carrier, as he has been the featured back. Started out Butchie Wallace getting the majority of the carries, and then Brandon has since taken over from them. I guess if you're Marshall, although this will not be considered impressive, you know, a lot of things that work. If your one concern is just winning the football game, well, that's fine with what they're doing. But in terms of impressing the country, blowing people out, getting Byron Leftwich big Heisman-type numbers, you're not going to get that here.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about the latter point. That hurts Byron Leftwich.
Third and short. Here's Leftwich to throw. And completing to Darius Watts. First down, yardage, and more. Omar Lawrence on the coverage.
I tell you what, though, that throw is phenomenal. I mean, he can bring it. He can really bring it. I mean, you talk to the Marshall coaches, they tell you this guy is as good as any they've coached. You know, Mark McHale told us about coaching Brett Favre at Southern Miss, and he says that this guy has every bit the arm that Favre guy has.
Favre. Hey, that's every bit the arm. That's really saying something. 6 straight third down conversions for Marshall. And on first down, they'll be looking at second and long. Brandon Carey brought down by Peter Sands.
You see what he's done, 24-36, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. You know, it's good. It's a good night for Byron Leftwich, but I think the manner in which it has occurred kind of leaves people wanting more. I mean, you're expected to see him, you know, have a real outcoming again after last week, you know, throw it around. And it hasn't been that, but his numbers still creep up on you.
Not eye-popping.
Right.
Not scoreboard exploding kind of numbers. You know, will he get to 400 yards? Will he throw for 4 scores? Still remains to be seen. Leftwich, the throw down a sideline, looked to take a shot there, had big pressure behind him, and I'm not sure he was aware of it when he released the football.
Well, give some credit, though, to UCF. I mean, they came in with the plan that said, Byron Leftwich is not going to throw the deep ball. We're going to take that away from him. We're going to double deep. You know, we're going to force him to take short passes. He may get 300 yards, but it's going to be in small chunks, and that's what's happened. And they've run the ball some, too, so he hasn't had 50 attempts and 400 yards by now.
UCF secondary coach John Font said, hey, if you're scared to go up against him, go to a pound, buy yourself a dog, and take him to the game to protect you. That's if you're scared about going up against this aerial attack of Marshall. Leftwich to put it up and complete to Watts across the middle, stays on his feet, and finally brought down at the 41. Again, it's Peter Sands on the stop.
And Leftwich is down again. It was the ankle earlier. It looks like the right hand now. I don't know if he hit it on a helmet as he let go of the ball. Watch the right hand. See if that's what happens. Yeah. It looks like he hit the helmet of the UCF defender at the end there.
Right thumb, maybe?
Yeah. Right hand, right thumb, left ankle. And that's getting both sides of the body.
And, of course, Leftwich is still in there. Marshall has scored on 4 of their last 5 possessions. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Leftwich is over 300 yards now passing. Won't get any there. Marriott, the intended target.
That's one of those deals where if the coach knows that he's hurting, they don't call a passing play. You know, they give him a play or two to get himself back together, but I bet they didn't know that Leftwich was hurting with his hand. Otherwise, you know, they get in that formation, they run the ball, give him a break for just a play.
Byron Leftwich, a lot of attention. He is big man on campus. He's big man anywhere he goes in this part of the country. Marshall has had 4 different drives of 11 or more plays, time-consuming drives. This is play number 8 of this drive. Leftwich, pressure, taken down. Larry Brown on the sack, and that is the first sack of the football game by either squad.
And the junior from Jacksonville, Florida, just knifed in there. Quarterbacks don't like to have you come inside at them because they can't step up. Watch Brown. He just beats his man. That is not anything to do with the scheme. That is man-to-man combat, and that's Brown winning it. Good job.
Brown, the junior, Jacksonville. 3rd and 18 now after the sack. Leftwich has Carey with him in the backfield. That's it. Looking up top and overthrew his intended target. That was Curtis Jones.
Yeah, Leftwich has been just off enough tonight to make you wonder, you know, is something really wrong? I think the hand is an issue, the ankle is an issue, because he put that ball to the outside, and his receiver was free to the inside. Now, maybe they had a miscommunication, but as much as we've seen Leftwich over, you know, the last year plus, he doesn't miss that throw. He gets that one in there.
It seems as if whenever he's thrown the deep ball, it's always been too much, too strong. As Head punts it away, there is a flag. Fair catch is called for by Asante Samuel. He hasn't underthrown any of his targets, which is a good way to stay away from interceptions.
He has a big arm. And when he's in rhythm, he drops that ball in there perfectly. I think he's the best quarterback in the country. I don't think it's close right now. I think he's that good.
Not close. That's quite a statement.
I don't think anyone is right there with him. He's got everything. I mean, he's a smart quarterback. He knows how to read coverages. He makes good decisions. He's got good feet. Strong
illegal
arm.
motion.
One quarterback.
Illegal motion. On the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
And so Head will have to punt it away again. It's only the 4th penalty in the game. It's been a clean football game.
You know, finishing that point on Leftwich with everything he has, if he makes it to New York for the Heisman presentation, he'll be the 3rd Marshall player in 6 years.
That's right. Randy Moss, Chad Pennington. Head boots this one. Way out of bounds, and we'll see where they mark it. UCF will have the football, 1st and 10 of the 33 when we come back.
ESPN2's College Football Friday Night, brought to you by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer. And by Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you.
Two schools really involved here tonight with a lot of similarities. UCF joined Division 1A in '96. A year later, Marshall did the same. Both now find themselves in the same conference. And both have had outstanding one-loss records. So time of possession, UCF 12 fewer minutes than Marshall. That's because Marshall's been running the football, and Ryan Schneider there passing to Darius Capers, and we pass it down to Alex.
Well, Steve, Coach Mike Kusek says that he came into tonight's game better prepared than any game so far this season. That's because his team has gotten to practice this week, something they have not been able to do because it has rained so much in Orlando. Leading up to the Penn State game, they actually practiced at 5 a.m. in the morning just to avoid the afternoon thunderstorms. And then some of those practices were just canceled altogether. He says the weather cooperated with them this week, and because of it, they are much better prepared.
5 a.m. practice, right? I think I was just getting in at 5 a.m. in college. Wow, that's got to be tough. Luther Huggins, the intended target. Reese, what do you have?
Steve, what I have is next to my disdain for two-point conversion attempts too early in the game is my mantra: you must be sound in the kicking game. Providence Catholic with a 3-0 lead on Joliet. Bad snap on the punt. They're going to take the safety, and Joliet Catholic's on the board. It's 3-2 in the 3rd quarter of our high school showcase.
All right, Reese. It's like 3-2 in that game.
I was going to say Barry Zito must be pitching.
Haynes, the ball carrier, as we approach the final minute to play in quarter number 3. J.T. Rember brought him down.
You know, maybe in that 3-2 ball game, Joliet realizes how big a game it is for them. A chance to move up in the rankings, maybe up to 15, 16. There's another 3rd down for UCF, 2 of 8. Marshall's 9 of 6 on the day in 3rd down conversions.
Crowd getting loud again, 32,900 on fan, the 3rd largest in Herd home history. 3rd down and 6, shovel to Capers, and he's got the 1st down. Darius Capers from Ryan Schneider.
So he had to put his head down to get the last yard or two, and at a $165, that's asking a lot. He is not a big guy, but he's fast. And again, they get a gotcha on Marshall because Marshall does not realize he's in position to handle the ball from the backfield. But watch him at the end there, puts his head down, uses all of the 165 pounds he has to squeeze out a 1st down.
Capers is one of those guys the coaching staff told us he has phone booth speed. If you were in a phone booth with him, you still couldn't touch him. That's how fast he is. Completed the Doug Gabriel. And it's a 1st down as the wind whips up here in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah, it's getting real strong now. I mean, before it wasn't bad. Now the trees are leaning, the flags are standing stiff, and they're throwing into that thing right now.
That's Gabriel's 2nd catch. 12 seconds to play in the quarter. And it looks like they won't run another play.
Yeah, that wind kicked up in a hurry.
Three quarters are complete here at Marshall Stadium. Byron Leftwich and the Herd are up by 12. UCF looking for a score.
We're back at Marshall, 26-14. UCF with the ball as we start the fourth quarter, Steve. Ought to be fun here.
Wind whipping around. College football Friday night coming to a stadium near you every Friday night. Headed for Albuquerque, New Mexico next week. Texas Tech will be in town for bringing you Friday night football next weekend. Alex Haynes is carrying the mail to the 25.
You know, Steve, this wind looks so bad from up here right now. I wonder if that didn't have an impact on Leftwich earlier in that third quarter when he had the wind at his back, as Schneider has it at his back right now.
I know I can appreciate it because it's rather inexpensive air conditioning for us.
Are you saying it was a little hot in here?
A little hot in this region. 2nd down and 5. You'd like to have the lead when the wind starts whipping up, though. And Marshall does. Again, it's Haynes. Stopped in the backfield. Terrence Tarpley came up from the rover position to make the stop.
I am really impressed with the speed of the Marshall defense. I mean, these guys can fly around. They've got a lot of speedsters, a lot of young guys, but a lot of speedsters in their linebacking core and in their safety cornerback position.
Speaking of speed, Tarpley is considered the fastest player on that Marshall team. Coaches really gave him a lot of credit. He said not a lot of seniors would change their position going into their final year. And Tarpley took one for the team, changing his position to play that rover from the cornerback spot. This is 3rd down and 8. They only have 3 seconds to snap it, and they do. Schneider under pressure, and it is incomplete, and Schneider was really pounded by Jonathan Goddard, and flags go flying.
I think it's going to be a late hit. And Schneider looks like he's pretty happy about it.
There might have been some words exchanged afterwards as well. Maybe some showboating.
Number 50, unsportsmanlike foul for taunting. That's a 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Oh, wow. It wasn't the late hit. It was saying a little something, something after the hit.
And now I believe Goddard is having something said to him from Coach Pruitt. UCF goes in and scores touchdown here. That's a big play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get a stop on 3rd down with good pressure on Schneider, and
the penalty will be for a 1st down.
You give it up with a taunting call, so now they've got first down inside the 20, inside the red zone.
You can see Leftwich to the right of Pruitt trying to lead the charges and get the crowd fired up, and Goddard joins in. 1st down and 10 now from the 14. And everybody's pointing at everyone. It looks like it was movement. Mario Jackson, the tight end, might have shifted.
Heard a snap. False start of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Jackson or Watkins, but it was definitely on the right side. Watkins is the right tackle, and Jackson was the tight end set that way. And I think you're right. I think it was probably Jackson, the tight end, who kind of moved forward and put his hand down.
We show you Gabriel. He's their big play guy, number 11 in the white. So 1st and 15. Again, the wind whipping up. Here's Schneider with time, throwing, and nearly gets Gabriel crushed. Chris Crocker came up to belt Gabriel as the ball sails away.
Well, Crocker doesn't seem to care who it is. He got Frizzell earlier, and this time he gets Gabriel. It's another big-time hit. Just watch 19. He smells it right now, and he just comes flying in. And that's what a free safety is supposed to do. Let receivers know you cannot come in the middle and think you can catch the ball without some punishment.
Little something else to think about. Crocker, the defensive leader, plays on every special team. Tough guy to get off the field. Shoveled ahead to Haynes. And he's in. Touchdown, Alex Haynes. How's that for an individual effort? A 19-yard run.
Well, I don't know if he finished this thing off at the goal line. I don't know if he got in, but I tell you this, he ran through some tackles. That man showed you something on that play. I mean, 3 or 4 guys had shots at him, but he used all 220 pounds on his 5'11" frame to pound his way through some would-be tacklers.
And there's the guy who's thinking about it, absolutely. Jonathan Goddard, his taunting call. Penalty against him, kept the drive alive, gave him an extra 15. Prater on for the extra point. It is good. Don't go anywhere, folks. 13:22 to play in the fourth quarter. And we've got a 5-point game. Lots of time left in the fourth quarter, and this one has tightened up. The penalty really hurts, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Well, they had to stop, and maybe they don't even give up 3 points. But with the penalty, they give up 7.
Wilbur Hargrove will let it bounce, and Marshall will take over on 1st down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Marshall, the 5-point lead. And, of course, Mr. Leftwich is set to take the field, and that can always mean more points are on the way. But it's been an excellent game here. First game ever between these two schools, and for UCF, already a fine showing as they're welcome to the MAC.
Well, you know, they talked a lot of trash before this thing got started, and, you know, you wondered, would they walk the walk? Well, they have. They've come in, they've run the ball when they had to. They got away from their own game plan, and they started throwing it. Schneider, big time, getting it done. So they have a little bit of something happening for them. Now the defense has got to step up for UCF.
It's a program that is clearly on the rise, though, and Golden Knights fans have a lot to be proud of. Can't say Marshall's on the rise. They're already there. Here's Leftwich. Puts some air underneath it. A perfect throw to Jason Rader. And he's down at midfield. Nice touch on that ball.
Oh, he has touch, and he knows how to read a coverage. He saw it right off the bat. You're going to see his tight end right here. Rader is going to make his way down there. He sees the coverage as a 3 deep and knows that there's some room to get that in there behind the linebacker. And sure enough, there it is. There it is. What a good read. Got it to the right guy, read it right off the bat.
29-yard gain on the play. The spot is just shy of midfield. Fakes the handoff. Instead, gets it out of the flat to Josh Davis. And he'll pick up 3 on the play. Stanford Rule brought him down.
Sands on the tackle for the Knights. It's a gain of 5.
You can hear the wind whipping up inside this stadium.
Yeah, it's because the crowd's a little bit nervous now. They're a little quiet. They're worried.
And Marshall is throwing into the wind or running into the wind. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage is Brandon Carey by Elton Patterson. You know, throughout the course of a game, there are so many plays that are big plays, but you don't know how big they are until the game is decided. Remember, Patterson is the player who grabbed Leftwich, preventing him from scoring on the 2-point conversion, which you thought would be very hard to do, given Leftwich's size and how close he was to the goal line.
Right.
You know, it's a 5-point football game.
Yeah, and maybe if you don't even go for the 2 points, you kick the 1, you're in decent shape, and you don't have to worry about going for 2 if you get another touchdown.
Playing catch-up as you... And now it's okay because we're in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, fourth quarter is a little different deal.
But at that point, it was still late stages of the third. Here's Leftwich now. Good pass protection. He's had it all night. And nearly a great catch by Rader, who laid out and couldn't come up with the football.
Taylor, Rader's got some skills. I mean, he's a 6'4", 260-pound tight end. That's NFL size. That's NFL size, and he's got hands to go along with it. So he's got some real possibilities the way he can get down the field and catch the ball.
He is on the watch list for the Mackey Award, which is awarded to the top tight end in the country. And a rare punt from Curtis Head. Samuel will let it go. So a big defensive stop by UCF. They'll take over, trailing by 5 when we come back. Looking at part of Marshall's home field advantage. What an advantage they have had here at Marshall Stadium, opening in 1991. They have an 89-5 record here.
Wow.
A winning percentage of 95. And here they find themselves in a ball game with UCF. Alex Haynes, the ball carrier. And we send it back to the studio and Reese Davis.
Steve, our high school showcase game between Providence Catholic and Joliet Catholic in Illinois. You'll recall earlier, Mark Reeder from Providence returned an interception to set up the field goal. Now receiving the punt, and Mark Reeder finds Dave Ice. Mark Reeder bursting down the sidelines and setting up a play that you will see momentarily.
All right, Reese, we look forward to that. What a run. Here's Haynes. He'd look for similar success on that play, but won't find it. Pretty good tease by Reese. So what do you have?
I have this, Steve. Again, Providence moving on Joliet Catholic. Number 18 team in the country. It's a 3rd and 25. Nick Stanton's in a world of trouble, trying to save his team. Stanton sacked. No, he escapes. Looking for some help. Anybody, somebody. Clay Cleveland is somebody. Give him 6. And the Celtics are on top, 10-2, about halfway through the 4th.
Give that man 6, Reese.
Oh, shaking up things in high school football. Top 25 could see another change.
3rd down and 4, and that pass just slightly behind Tavares Capers. Looked like a catchable ball, but Capers could not bring it down. How about a high school kid? What a thrill, though, right? Their highlights being played on ESPN. You go out and have a big game on a Friday night, you might just wind up on the worldwide leader in sports.
You think he might get a little tension at the party after the game tonight or so? You know, Reeder goes off on his big run, and he walks into the party tonight afterwards. The guys go, hey, we saw you on ESPN, dude.
Yeah. Chance of him getting the prom date he wants.
Pretty good?
Pretty good, I'd say, yeah.
Okay. We're just helping guys
out. It's amazing what national TV exposure can do for you. Ryan Flynn is back to boot it away. Roberto Terrell, the 27, and moving backwards. Now moving forwards, breaking some tackles, and finally be brought down at the 32. Exactly 10 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. It's a 5-point game. Marshall's got the ball in the lead.
ESPN2's College Football Friday Night, brought to you by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Steve Levy, Rod Gilmore, Alex Flanagan, and our outstanding Friday night college football crew. Seeing each and every Friday night. We'll see you next Friday night in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with Texas Tech in town. Byron Leftwich, you look at the numbers. First half, second half, he's playing with the lead. Leftwich wouldn't care about those numbers at all as long as the final score shows his team out in front. And there's movement. Was that Raider might have jumped? That Patterson, Drew Patterson across.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
We salute the soldiers of the 21st Theater Support Command in Kaiserslautern, Germany, who are keeping our ground troops stationed around Europe and Southwest Asia well supplied. Thanks for watching today's telecast on the Armed Forces Network Europe, where we send our best well wishes and regards. Handoff near side. It's Marriott, the receiver, came around to take the ball. And picks up maybe 3 on the play. Alfonso Hopkins brought him down.
You know, you mentioned Leftwich not being concerned about his numbers, and I think you're right. I mean, we talked to him an awful lot, and he really is a sincere team guy. I don't think there's any question about that. He doesn't care about the Heisman thing. He's going along with everything, and, you know, like Kirk Herbstreit likes to say, he may not get the Heisman, but he'll get his Heisman in April in the NFL draft.
Right. Yeah, the only people who care about the eye-popping numbers are those who probably don't get to see him in person.
Right.
Those who just read the accounts in the newspapers, and those, of course, who are the ones voting for the Heisman quite often. Josh Davis, the receiving end of the Leftwich pass. Rovell Hamilton brought him down. Davis, 6 catches, 87 yards.
Well, Leftwich needs a strong finish here, but not because of the Heisman. He needs a strong finish because they need another score.
That's right. The game is in doubt.
Yeah, they may not win this game if they don't get another score.
Leftwich, I mean, he could be the #1 pick in the NFL draft and not win the Heisman. We've seen how Heisman quarterbacks have done lately in the NFL. Not all that well. On 3rd and short, Marriott could not hang on. Alfonso Hopkins was with him step for step.
How about the Golden Knights with a little 3rd down defense there, hanging in on this thing. 4th quarter, they talk smack coming in, saying, hey, we can handle the Mac. We can take on the big Mac Daddy. We can beat him up there. We're not worried about it. And in the 4th quarter, they're in the game because of plays like this. Yeah, he didn't get his hand in there, but when you force a receiver to run across the field that hard, it makes it hard for him to catch the ball.
Curtis Head is on the punt, and all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot more of the punter for Marshall. And that's because these drives for the Thundering Herd are flat out stalling. And Herd put it in the air from his own 30. Samuel will let it bounce, and it'll be down to the 20-yard line. 8:23 left. Central Florida trailing only by 5, and they're getting the football back. We know you love the college and the high school game. How about the big boys? Guys who get paid to play. Sunday Night Football on ESPN. It's the Bengals and the Falcons at 8:30 Eastern. Get a good look at Michael Vick. He's completing 63% of his passes. Not the fact he's leading the team in rushing, okay, but 63%.
You know,
that's impressive.
When he was at Vatech, we used to call it Vic TV. And it'll be good TV on Sunday night.
1st down and 10. Schneider handing it off to Alex Haynes. Tarpley makes the stop. This game has been just so surprising. You'd never think the 2 names we'd be mentioning throughout the night the most are Brandon Carey and Alex Haynes. But these 2 teams who feature quarterbacks in passing games have been having featured running backs tonight.
Yeah, they've decided to see who is tougher. I mean, this is sort of one of those games where you fight for respect and for, you know, who can be the bully on the block in the mat.
Yeah, it'd be surprising if one team did it, but it's shocking that both teams have really gone away. Some of the things they do best. Hard hit on the far side, but Sean Gaudian was staying on his feet and waiting for Marshall to have 5 or 6 players in the neighborhood.
You know, you can throw for 400 or 500 yards against a team. It's not the same as running for 400 or 500 yards. When you run the ball on someone, you're telling them we are physically tougher, meaner than you are.
Macho man.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to come in to Marshall Stadium and you're going to say, we're the conference now, we're going to be around, hey, take this, we're going to pound you a little bit. It's a statement. Or at least they're trying to make a statement.
They're pounding on the drums. 3rd down and 1. The UCF 3rd down conversion problems are well documented. Here's a big play in the game. Under 7 to go, down by 5. And they hand it off, and I don't think they got it. Alex Haynes couldn't get a push. Toriano Brown came up to make the stop in the middle of the pile.
Well, what Brown gave them on that play was what they hadn't been getting last week. I mean, he took on blockers, he held his ground, he created a pile-up, and made the play. And on top of that, he got some help out of Marlon Hicks coming in over the top.
UCF now 3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Missed on their first 2 tonight. That gave them 14 straight conversions they had failed on dating back to last game. And they find themselves in the familiar punt formation. Ryan Flynn at the 15. No pressure. Flynn will get it away. Roberto Terrell will let it bounce at the 30 and out of bounds. How many chances is UCF going to give Marshall and Byron Leftwich to tack on some points and add to the lead? Marshall up by 5 with the football. Coach Kruzek and his squad certainly confident. The school must feel pretty confident as well, going into their first ever MAC game in the conference. They took out a half-page ad in the local sports section here in Huntington, West Virginia. Kind of today, we're here to announce their arrival. But that was a pretty confident move by the Golden Knights administration and football department. Out to the 35, Brandon Carey, the ball carrier. Hopkins the stop, and let's go down to Alex.
Well, Steve, after that last series, Byron Leftwich came over to Josh Davis, and he said, man, what happened? Why did you drop that pass? Davis said to him, you know, they're grabbing at me. I'm having a hard time. He said, I don't care. He said, you know, you've got to catch that thing. You're putting the D in a bad position. He's still positive. He's still calm. You can definitely tell he is frustrated, though, with his receivers, Steve.
I'm sure the hand, the ankle, are frustrating Leftwich as well. They're trying to fight through it and gut it out, Alex. Hand off to Carey. He's got first down yardage. Sands brought him down, but not until he moved past the marker, and we sent it back to Reese Davis.
Steve, our high school showcase, Joliet Catholic, Providence Catholic again. Ryan Quigley just thrown a beautiful ball to complete a fourth down and convert for Joliet. Now this is perhaps ill-advised. Dustin Summers with the interception. Oh, they teach good DB technique in that junior high program with the Homer Stallions. And Dustin Summers comes up with a big play for Providence.
And as we come back here, we do so with an incomplete pass. Darius Watts was the intended target for Byron Leftwich.
How about Dusty Summers getting up there catching that ball at the highest point? That's good DB play. Gotta like that.
Under 5 to go here in the fourth in a 5-point game.
You know, Marshall has punted on their last 3 possessions. They're moving into their 4-minute offense now, where you want to get first downs, you want to run the clock, because you don't want to leave much time left for UCF if you give them the ball back.
Second down and 10. Each team has their full complement of timeouts remaining. Leftwich throwing, was it intercepted? They're going to say no, I believe. Asante Samuel was there. And we'll take a look at it. But the immediate reaction from the official on the field looked like he did not catch that football.
Well, he jumped that route. They were double covering Darius Watts out there. He had the outside. Oh, I don't know. I think he might have got that one.
Wow.
I think he got that one. Inside and outside double coverage. He jumps the route. Oh, he got that one. He got his hands and arms underneath it. I think he got that one.
The little part of the football catches the turf, but his hands are underneath it.
He's underneath it. I think that was a pick.
I agree. Leftwich is 3 for his last 9 now, and he was lucky that wasn't intercepted. He was intercepted earlier in the game. He's got plenty of time. Now shows off the big one, and that one is nearly picked off. Peter Sands in coverage with Darius Watts.
And it looked like Watts had a shot at that ball. And the other thing was, it was amazing that Patterson didn't get a sack. I think it was being held there. Let's see Watts at the end. That ball hits him on his left arm after it was almost picked off, as you mentioned, by Peter Sands there, number 29, who got in on the play. But there was some holding going on by the Marshall offensive line on that play. 4th straight possession. Marshall has to punt. Samuel, who should have been credited with that pick, takes it, and UCF will take over at the 14-yard line. How many bullets can you dodge?
4:39 left here in the fourth. Marshall up 5. It's been an entertaining evening, and you could look forward to much of the same tomorrow. First of the afternoon, Utah and Michigan from the Big House at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And then the night game, Boston College will travel to #1 ranked Miami, 7:45 Eastern on ESPN. For more on our upcoming games, log on to ESPN.com. The keyword schedule. It's that simple.
Michigan.
Here's Schneider off the play action, throwing and completing to the 32 to Jimmy Frizzell. Frizzell's been rather quiet ever since Crocker rocked his world earlier in the game, but he comes up with a big catch there.
Yeah, you know, Frizzell has taken a big shot, but he comes with a big catch here. And you can tell it's him. Watch him hang on to this ball. He'll take another shot, but he just hangs in there. How can a receiver do that? This guy's a strong guy. I mentioned before, 400-pound bench press. Strong guy, 195 pounds. Tough guy, likes to block.
22-yard gain for Frizzell. First down and 10. Play action. Schneider throwing, had a man wide open. It was Frizzell again. Got in between the safety and the corner, had a seam, and Schneider could not hit him.
He had him turned around, Steve. He had his choice of guys. This guy is going to go there. That's Gabriel. Then he's going to have his guy there. He's going to throw the ball in between the two. He's got them both wide open. Take your pick. Take your pick.
Wow. That's gaping hole.
Oh, that's one he wishes he had back.
Second down and 10 at their own 35. Get a good look into the eyes of Schneider, the junior from Plantation, Florida. Hands off, second man through. It's Alex Haynes. Loss on the play. Jameis Martin comes up with the stick, his 5th tackle of the game.
Yeah, 5th of the game, and he had a heck of a game against Virginia Tech last week. Martin did. Coming along, playing real strong out there. He's only 235 pounds. Gets himself in there, nice and strong.
Martin played last year as a true freshman, which is quite a compliment. You're right, everyone raving about the game he had a week ago.
You think about that, 235 pounds taking on tackles that weigh 300. He's giving 65, 70 pounds and making plays.
And he was the defensive player of the game on a defense that gave up 47 points last week. Here's Schneider. Football is stripped, bounces right back to Schneider, and he completes to Gabriel, making people miss across midfield and down at the 36 of Marshall. What a wild play.
You talk about composure. And Schneider had composure on that play. That ball gets knocked out. He just plays basketball with it. He just dribbles it.
Orlando Washington batted it down.
Yeah. Now watch him just dribble this thing. There it is, point. Bounces right up and has the presence of mind to know where Gabriel is going to be and delivers the ball. Watch this. Up, basketball. Pick it up. There he is. I know where he's going to be.
Rod, only the good players does the ball bounce right back up to them. If you're a bad player, you're the second string, you're the backup guy, that ball bounces away from you. Somebody picks it up, runs it back for 6.
It hits the point of the ball. You're right. You know.
So Schneider and UCF, they get a break there. And then a fine play after the good luck. Straight drop. And the throw intercepted. Picked off by J.T. Rembert. And he returns it to the 35. So UCF gets the break, but they can't do anything with it. Marshall, the turnover. The first interception for Marshall this season. And it comes at a most opportune time.
Oh, and he had his guy out there. He had Gabriel open. He never saw Rembert lurking back there. He was just lurking, and Schneider didn't see him.
That's really a tough series for Schneider. Had 2 guys wide open, threw it in between them, has the ball stripped from him, able to get it back, and then throws the pick to Rembert.
Illegal substitution, 12 players.
Well, you got the gist.
Keep your eyes to the right side of the screen. You'll see 32 Rembert. He just goes flying out there, and he just settles in underneath. Bad throw. Schneider never got it up over him, didn't see him heading out there, and had Gabriel out there on a curl route.
So we'll see what Marshall does with it now. They've punted on 4 consecutive possessions. And they're going to have a loss on first down. Brandon Carey stopped by Genti. We send it back to Reese.
Steve, Joliet Catholic's last chance against Providence Catholic. It's 10-2 in the 4th. Providence on top. 4th and 11 play. Here is Ryan Quigley. He's in trouble. Got to heave it up. And guess who's there? Mark Reeder had the great punt return, his 2nd interception of the night. And Providence, the 6A champion, reigning 6A champion in Illinois, holds off Joliet 10-2. Going to Kentucky next week. St. Xavier and Trinity expecting 40,000 for that one, guys.
All right, we look forward to the highlights of that game, Reese. Next Friday night, we have Texas Tech at New Mexico. Second down and 14. Carey, the ball carrier. Rule pounded him down to the turf. And all Schneider can do is look on and hope for another chance with the football.
Yep, that's what he wants.
And he'll be aided in getting that chance because UCF has just taken a timeout. Stop the clock. We are back in Huntington, West Virginia for the thrilling conclusion of this one. Marshall has had all sorts of opportunities to put this one away and have hardly been able to get a first down.
Well, their 4-minute offense has not been good, and that's when you want to get some first downs, run the clock, run the ball, and passing teams often have trouble finishing games with the running game.
This is 3rd and 14. Pressure from UCF, good protection, and the throw, and is intercepted. Picked off by Asante Samuel, who has had himself a heck of a football game for UCF. Maybe the Golden Knights' best defensive player.
Well, he gets credit for this one. That's the second one he picked off, but only the first one he gets credit for. And he jumped all on Leftwich's throw there. I mean, he read that, he knew where it was going, and he broke better on the ball than the receiver did.
And it looks like from that shot, you know, you say UCF might not travel. Well, hey, they traveled here. The shade of gold in the crowd.
Well, you got to bring your posse if you're going to talk the talk, you know.
Bold people want to see, can you travel well? And let's see Marshall's defense. Again, put in a difficult position by their offense. Schneider gets another chance. Throwing and completing to Frizzell. That was a dangerous pass. That was nearly a pick six. Headed the other way. Terrell was thinking about it.
That ball was in the air a long time. That's when you see the difference between the arm strength of a Byron Leftwich and a Ryan Schneider. And his ball's out there a long time. And Tarpley just did not believe it. If he had believed it, he could have picked that thing off. He hesitated.
Second down and 4 upcoming. The numbers on Ryan Schneider. By the way, first 20 games of his career, his numbers are better than Dante Culpepper's first 20 games of his career. Wow. At UCF could be rewriting the record book there. Alex Haynes, the ball carrier, he'll get out of bounds, cross midfield to the 46-yard line. Satterwhite forced him out. And just in case you don't believe me.
No, we believe you. Why wouldn't we believe you?
A lot of folks not that trusting at home, Rod. And here are the numbers.
Culpepper up top. Look at the touchdowns. 38 touchdowns versus 31.
5 fewer picks.
And Dante Culpepper was UCF. I mean, he put this place on the map. And he was the entire focus of the program.
Got his own section of the media guide. Friday Night Fights is upcoming, but this bout is far from over. Under 2 minutes to play. Here's Schneider trying to set up the screen. He's belted down. As I believe the ball falls for an incomplete pass. Jameis Martin really put a lick on Schneider.
Well, it's going to be a 4-down play here. I mean, I think you got to go for it on 4th down. But how about Marshall bringing some pressure? You got to have a pass rush in the 4th quarter, and they get it from Martin, the same guy we talked about earlier, who's beating those 300-pound linemen with his 235-pound frame.
So here we go. This is 4th and 3. UCF has 2 timeouts left. Marshall has all 3 of theirs. Schneider, off play action, has time. The throw, it is up for grabs, and it is incomplete. Terrence Tarpley came up with a batted ball. Interception, they're saying. Tarpley comes away with it. Frizzell, the intended target. That's a tough play on 4th and 3 with the ball game potentially on the line.
Well, I think it was the bad choice by Schneider, and he does not make many bad choices. In that time, he went deep where there were 3 guys waiting, and he actually had a guy shorter. 2, and there's a 3rd one.
Wow.
Throws into double coverage.
What a great interception.
Huge.
Off the tip ball.
You know, for a passing team, a team that likes to run with one back, on their 4th and 3 and a big play, they had one wide receiver in the game. That's unusual. I think that's a call that he'd like to have back. And he'd like to have Frizzell, Gabriel, and Capers on the field for that 4th and 3 instead of just one of them.
Last 3 possessions, UCF intercepted, Marshall intercepted, UCF intercepted. And again, Leftwich can't worry about his Heisman hopeful stats. He's got to try to win this football game. Brandon Carey, the ball carrier. Chad Masco made the stop. Timeout is called. 1:39 left. 99 seconds left in regulation time. So it doesn't look like we're going to get to 100 points tonight here, Rod.
You don't think?
There's the quarterback comparison.
Well, and both of those guys down here, this is unusual. Both of them with interceptions, 2 of them. And for Schneider, the last 2 possessions, key drives late in the game. Certainly Leftwich, his 2 picks hurt Marshall as well. I mean, it's made this game closer than it would have been, especially that first one that kept them out of the end zone.
That's right. That seems like an awful long time ago. Marshall by 5. And they'll keep it on the ground and try to milk some of the clock. Although it'll stop now because it's a first down. Reese Davis.
Celebration, Steve, in Joliet, Illinois. Providence Catholic going in and beating Joliet Catholic, number 18 team, according to USA Today poll. Of course, Providence is the reigning 6A champion in the state of Illinois. They celebrated a bit, 10-2 the final. The Hilltopper defense allowing the first touchdown of the season. Providence victorious in the showcase game of the week.
All right, Reese.
You know something, though. Those guys at Providence, you know, act like you've been there before. Don't make it a goalpost game. Don't tear them down.
I was going to say the best play in football is taking a knee, right?
You know,
the final seconds.
Yeah.
Watch the clock tick off. Leftwich hopes to take a knee in a few plays from now. And there's a smart play by Brandon Carey to stay in bounds. And they wind the clock under a minute. UCF can only stop it one more time with their lone timeout. And Friday Night Fights is coming up next here on ESPN2. But if you're interested, we urge you to stick around and switch over to ESPN News. Alex will have some reaction from the field. Rod will have his usual outstanding analysis. And I will pretty much take it back and forth out of commercial and to commercial.
Okay. Is that the plan?
I'm trying to think what I will add to that. And we'll have complete comprehensive post-game coverage for you on ESPN News.
You know, I tell you, I've got to believe that they would like to have that 4th down play back.
I agree.
Again. I mean, I don't know how you do that because you're not fooling anybody thinking you're going to run the ball with 2 tight ends in the ball game at that point in time. I mean, you got some good receivers. You got to get them on the field for a 4th and 3 like that when everybody knows you got to throw the ball.
And yet, you know, Haynes has been so effective tonight for Central Florida in terms of the running game. That was an interesting call on 4th and 3. Yeah. 52 seconds left. UCF has taken their last time out.
Well, and I know they like the call, but, you know, you don't want to be sitting on the bus or the plane thinking, should we have had our best players on the field for the play we needed most? You don't want to have that thought.
The opportunities were there for the Golden Knights. 4 possessions over the last 11 minutes, Rod. Punt, punt, interception, interception. And Leftwich will take a knee, and UCF cannot stop the clock.
We did see some great performances out of a couple of running backs tonight. Alex Haynes with 131 yards, and Carey coming up with 133.
This game was all about MAC pride on the line. Marshall looking to retake or take back the MAC. UCF looking forward to getting into MACtion in their first ever game in a conference after being an independent. Byron Leftwich helped his team win the game, but did not help himself in the Heisman consideration tonight.
I don't know that he helped himself in terms of winning it. I don't think he's out of the race. I still think he's a viable candidate for New York, but he did not shut the door as he could have in the last 2 weeks.
Marshall improves to 2-1. UCF falls down to 0-3. The final score from Huntington, West Virginia. Marshall, a winner 26-21. Friday night fights are coming up next on ESPN2. For Rod Gilmore and Alex Flanagan, this is Steve Levy. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your home for college football on the internet. Friday night college football next week from New Mexico. Good night from West